Alicia, what are we covering?
Okay, this is like, so we have lots of videos on our channel that got a lot of traction, lots of views, but they're a little bit outdated.
Yeah.
And so what we've done is virtually went back and found all that old content, and we're like, let's make it as updated as we can for you guys. This is one of the most viewed videos that we have on our channel, and it is the car decals.
Yes.
So what we've done, we're going to show you 2 different ways today: how to waterproof printable vinyl, and how to just cut like a standard car decal out of adhesive vinyl.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to give you tips on like the best vinyl to use and the best way to waterproof it and stuff like that. So, yeah.
It's going to be really good.
It is.
The product that you have here on the table, I've actually done, I did Courtney a shampoo, a body wash, and a conditioner bottle.
Yeah.
And I used this product today from StarCraft. So this has been tested, not only tested, but used for almost a year and a half inside of my own shower.
Yeah.
And it's holding strong.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. There's a whole like recorded video on the channel. It's about like waterproofing decals like 3 ways or something.
Yes.
But like Alicia said, the software shifted. There's new design space like restrictions like taken away, so you can do better, larger print and cut.
Yes, big print
and cut. So now you can do that on your car. You can do it in so many different ways.
Right.
Car decals for a lot of people are scary.
Yes.
So we just want to take that away because you're making a decal.
Yeah, it's very easy. Actually, probably one of the easiest Cricut crafts. I would argue that, if not the easiest. I just think people see them and they think that it's going to be difficult, but it's really, if you have the right materials, it's really not.
Yes. Now, a lot of people like doing big wall decals can be challenging, or doing like hours of operation and like logos on the car, things like that. That can be daunting, but here's what I want to say to you, because I see a lot of you that are chatting about, oh my gosh, I want to do this for my business. I want to encourage you to do it. And here's what I want to say. As someone that has done door decals, things like that, you want to say yes to the order, okay? Do 1 or 2, maybe just for free to get comfortable. And here's what I want to offer you. What do you have to lose? So you may say, Dana, I'm nervous. Like, what if it's Cricut? What are you gonna do? Alicia, what would you do?
Take it off and do it again.
Do it again. So I want to offer that to you today, that if you want to add something new to your offering, this would be a really affordable one, and you'll perfect your skill. It does not take too long to learn how to position door decals.
And I think what the dilemma for people with the car decals is the application process.
Yes,
I think it's making sure it's straight, making sure the surface is clean, and those are the more daunting. That's the more daunting part of it.
100%.
But just, you know, it's removable. It's just sticker paper. It's not that serious. Like you can take it off and make a new one. It's totally fine.
So good. So we've had some questions.
So that's what we want to talk about today. And I've got all of the things here. If we go overhead. So I want to show you all how to make just like a basic Cricut decal. This is going to be super, super easy. If you are an experienced Cricketer, you're probably going to be like, that's super easy. But I want to show you all and give you some tips on things that I like to use when we're just doing basic vinyl cut decals. And then my other thing I want to talk about today are print then cut car decals. So you all know, if you've been here for any amount of time, that we love the Zakoto brand sticker paper. This is the matte, which I think prints the best. It prints better than the glossy, in my opinion.
I love this brand.
Yeah, Zakoto sticker paper is bomb.com. And the matte, I prefer the matte. I don't know if you have noticed the difference between glossy or matte, but for me, the black, if you have a design with black in it, the matte paper just absorbs the pigment and the ink really well. And so that's why I love this vinyl matte paper. And then this is the star of the show. This is the update. So previously, I don't know that we had used this on the car decal video previously, but I want to say that this is going to be the ticket for your print then cut car decals, because this is a UV laminate sheet. So these are clear. Let me take one out and I'll show you. This is basically like putting a clear film over your decal. So I'm just going to pull this edge up. Well, maybe if I can get it. So, and it's also like a matte finish, which I am a sucker for a matte finish. So this is what is going to go over your sticker. And then I've got a sticker right here. This one has the laminate over top of it. This feels such good quality. This feels like I bought it at like REI. Like it feels like one of those fancy Patagonia stickers. Am I the only one who knows what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
the fancy like water bottle stickers you can buy.
Because here's the deal. When you're at REI or, you know, Nashville, Asheville, wherever you're going,
Right.
you're paying $5 to $6 for those stickers. And I would argue that a lot of us worry, you know, just to talk about, I love teaching people about selling their crafts.
Yes.
And I want to offer that, you know, I happily pay $5 and $6
Me too.
for a good sticker.
Me too.
So
Me too.
for our friends out here that's like, I can't charge more than $1 for a sticker, I want to offer you that people will happily order from you. And the thought you have about your customer is very important. And I want you to monitor your relationship with the identity of your customer, because you need to think positively around your customer.
I agree with that.
You need to know that they want to spend money with you because they love supporting you and getting the result. And I think the sticker, I'm a crafter. I could make that sticker. You're a crafter and you can make that sticker, but we happily give our funds to get a ready-made sticker that we just put on our water bottles and enjoy.
If you can get it in the right place and you've got your right demographic and you're selling, if you have a bicycle shop up the road and you live near the beach, like, this is perfect. You know, I mean, you just find what works for you and like, don't undersell yourself either. So anyways, I've got all this stuff here. You're going to need some basic Cricut tools. We're going to be using a standard grip mat. I've got a brayer, which I like to use for my print and then cuts. Even when I'm not making stickers, brayer is great for print and then cut so your ink doesn't ever smudge. I've got a burnishing tool, an X-Acto knife, a measuring tape, and then some scissors. And I also like to keep rubbing alcohol around for my application process. So we really like to clean our surfaces really well. These little alcohol pumps are from the Dollar Tree, and we just put rubbing alcohol in them and we clean all of our surfaces before we apply vinyl with these. So this is like one of our oldest hacks. I don't know if you want to call it a hack. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna pull up Design Space really quick. And I've already pulled my PNG, so let's just start there. And I want to start from the top. So if you're like, what the heck? How did you get to where we're at now? Let's go ahead and hop over to the Makers Gonna Learn website. And I've already got our new, so these are our newest images that I think these came out like earlier this week or maybe at the end of last week. Lots of really fun like disc golf files, which my dad and husband and brother-in-law are disc golfers.
Did you know I love disc golf?
Do you?
I played a lot before I had kids.
Okay.
It was the way I pitch people on it is it's like hiking.
Bless
Excuse
you.
me, I should have took that allergy medication.
I know.
It's like hiking, but you get to be outside longer.
Yes.
I love it.
It's like
fun.
It's like pepped up hiking. Yeah, it's really fun. So lots of really fun and cute disc golf. We've got Mardi Gras stuff in here. These surf and sand files are like a vibe for me. I really love the colors. And the perk of using PNGs and doing a printable image is that you're going to get a lot more color opposed to if you're doing a vinyl decal. You can always layer different colored vinyls. But if you've got an inkjet printer, you can just print these out and the color is already there. You're not having to fiddle with like layering your vinyls and things like that. So lots of different options. So, okay, so let's just download this file. I'm just gonna show you all how this works. So if we wanted this file right here, you're gonna go ahead and select the little button. It'll pop down into a zip folder. If for some reason you can't find it, go to your Finder or your search bar and type in the name of the file, or go to your recent downloads and it should be there. And then you can see right here, it is a PNG. So it'll have the file name .png. And then what you're gonna do, leave it like it is, pull up Cricut, and you're gonna go to your uploads. So I selected upload. I'm gonna upload my image, and I like to drag and drop my images. So I'm just gonna go back to my Finder, go find your file on your computer, and you can just drag and drop this into your uploads. Now with PNGs, I always use complex. That's just what I like to use. And then you can select apply and continue. If we select cut image, it's just going to give us this circle. So make sure you select print, then cut image, and we're going to go ahead and upload that. And then we can select it and add it to our canvas, and voila.
Look at you. Oh, everybody's loving these stickers. When did these come out?
I think this week or last week. It was like the beginning of this week or last week.
I'm digging this.
Me too. They're so cute.
They're sticker readies. And remember, if you're a member, you can use these for your business and sell them.
Yeah, which is amazing. These would be so cute in a little surf shop. So anyways, that's how you pull an image in. I did the same exact process with this image right here. And I'm going to use this arched image because I just think it's so stinking cute. And then basically, when you pull a PNG in, typically they're going to come in flattened. If for some reason you get a PNG from elsewhere, like not from Maker's Gonna Learn, make sure that all of your layers are flattened. Now, if you're using our files, they're gonna be flattened because we're just picky like that. But sometimes, so a lot of our PNGs are, well, all of them, they're hand drawn. So sometimes whenever you pull in PNGs, and I wish I could show you all an example of this, there will be like little tiny, like on this one, let me see if y'all can see this. Sadie, tell me if this is in focus right here. Can you all see this? I just want to show this to you. So, can you guys see right here? There's a little cut. Okay, sometimes on hand-drawn images, mainly because it's like an illustration, it's not like an SVG where there are definite lines. There may be tiny, tiny little gaps. And on this particular PNG, there is. So if you go to cut this out, it will try to cut right there where I showed you all. It'll try to cut just a little nick there and a little nick there. It's just the tiniest. You can't even hardly see it, you guys. But if you want to avoid that, what I like to do before we go to print this is add the smallest offset ever. So I'm just going to add an offset of like 0.01. You literally can't even see it. Now, if you're like, you can see, let me zoom in. You can see that there's like a very vague black outline on this. You see that? I'm just going to change the offset color to like orange. So if it does show, it matches. And then you want to make sure to flatten your offset with your image. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. And then what we want to do is measure the surface we're putting it on. So I typically do not like my car decals to be bigger than like 5 to 7 inches. You don't want it too small because you can't see it. But you don't want it gigantic unless you are doing something like the Bell Property Management sticker on the back of Tanner's work truck.
Yes.
Like that one's huge because you're advertising something.
Right.
But if you're doing like a cute little beach bum bumper sticker, I think a 5 to 7 inch range is like really good. And you'll learn like what you prefer and what your customers like the most, but 5 to 7 is a good place to land.
Yeah.
So this one is 5 high by 3.7 wide. That's perfect. So everything is flattened. That's key when you're doing print and cut. And what we're going to do now is select make it. So you don't need to mirror your image or anything like that. We're just going to go ahead and select continue. Now, if you have not been around to do print and cut, thank you, Shirley. She says she likes my shirt. I've been wearing banties on the lives. It's not planned. It's just, I just wear these shirts all the time. I did not make this. This is from Walmart men's section, if you didn't know. So, anyways, if you all have not been around recently, like messing with print and cut features, they have updated their print and cut. So it looks different off the bat. We've got these 4 corners in here. You can see, you can pull this all the way up to the top and all the way to the sides, which you could not do before. You can change your material size.
Love it.
11 by 17.
Look at that.
11 by 17. Now, whoever decides to come out with 11 by 17 sticker paper is going to be rolling in the dough.
We're going to be giving all our money to them.
We're going to be paying you a lot of money. So,
Yes.
like, if you are a sticker maker, keep your eyes out because I know that people that make products like this, I just guarantee 143 vinyls on top of this.
Yeah.
I feel like they're probably like, we need to be making 11 by 17 sticker paper. Now, there is sublimation paper. This is great for people who sublimate. because before you couldn't make.
Oh my gosh.
You couldn't do
this
it.
This changes my sublimation game.
Yeah, before we had like a workaround and we could do it, but you couldn't do it nearly as easy before. So anyways, we're going to stick with 8.5 by 11. I'm just going to kind of nestle that in the corner. And then we're going to go ahead and select continue. Now I need to print this, so I'm going to send to my printer. I'm going to keep the bleed on. So the bleed virtually extends the outer color out a little bit. So if my calibration isn't exact, I know that color is going to go all the way to my edge, and it's not going to show any white around my sticker.
Right.
Typically, I don't leave the bleed on for everything, but for this instance, I'm going to. And then I'm also going to use my system dialog, and we're going to select print. If you're using a Mac, your dialog box is not going to pop up. So you need to pull your screen down, and then your dialog box is here. It was just hiding from you. I think Windows, it just pops up. And then we're going to feed this from the rear tray because sticker paper is a little bit thicker. And if you have a rear tray, it helps it to feed through the printer a lot better. And always print best. Always print best quality. Okay, that is printing. Okay. Now, while it's printing, I want to show you all what I like to do for this type of sticker in Cricut Design Space. So before I was cutting it on glitter cardstock, but I'm going to go to browse all materials. If you guys have stepped away, I want you to come back.
Yes.
This is something that can be very helpful to all Cricut users, and a lot of people don't realize they can do this, and that's why I like to share this little hack. So before I was cutting it on glitter cardstock, that is my go-to setting for anything that is super thick that needs multiple passes. So glitter cardstock, if we select that, let's see, hold on one second. Let's go to material settings. Okay, so I'm gonna go out of here. What you're gonna do is browse all materials, go to material settings, and I want you to scroll down to glitter cardstock. Where is she? Here we go. Okay, so glitter cardstock, it's cutting with a pressure of 270 and you're getting 2 passes. I want those same settings, but I want to make myself a laminate sticker setting. Like I don't want to click glitter cardstock. I make a lot of stickers for cars, so I want to be able to click on laminate sticker setting and then be able to have like my own setting for this type of sticker.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is remember those settings. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to add a new material. So let's call this laminate stickers, and I've already made one, so it may not let me do. Okay, and then I'm going to select save, and it's going to pull us up here, and look, you can see where I made my first one, but you can adjust the pressure. So I'm going to adjust it to 270 because I know this cut setting works. I know this works. And then you can also adjust how many passes it does. I'm going to do 2 passes, and then you can save it. And now, whenever we go out of this, I can browse all materials and I can type in laminate stickers, and y'all, you can name it whatever you want. And there's my cut setting. I'm gonna hit done, and this should cut exactly the way that the glitter cardstock cut, except this is like my special setting. And if you find that you need to adjust the pressures or anything like that, you can. I'm not gonna do more pressure on this. It should be enough. 270 is like tipping the bar. Like we're going to the maximum there. So let me go grab the paper. I'll be right back.
Yes, so she is getting that all good to go. I mean, look at how easy it is to really print and cut. Like a lot of people get really nervous about like integrating their printer with their Cricut, but I want to encourage you, it's a game changer. It'll make your project so good.
Yes. So you can see how gorgeous these colors are. Let me grab our mat really quick. So the colors printed so good, and I swear it's because we're using this matte UV linen or this matte sticker paper. It's so good. And so I'm just going to place this on the top left corner. I like to make sure my print and cuts are perfectly lined up. And we're going to roll with our brayer over top of this. The brayer is really good to make sure this is secured down. And then before we cut it, we are going to add our special ingredient. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a sheet of this out. Now, it does not recommend that you try to do a full sheet on here. So we're going to cut out just enough to cover our design. So we're just going to cut this out with some scissors. And this does not affect the print and cut feature. Adding this over top of our image, it does not affect it at all. I think when I first did this, I was like, ooh, I don't know if it's gonna work. And it was totally fine. And you can save these. I save all of our little scraps.
For sure.
So now this part, this is the part where I try to avoid as many bubbles as possible. So I'm gonna flip this over and we're just gonna fold. We're gonna fold like an inch or so back from our backer.
Look at you go.
So I'm just gonna fold this back just a little bit, okay? So it looks like this. Let me show you close up. So I've just folded this back, okay? What I'm gonna do next is line this up to the top of my sheet of my print and cut, okay? And then keep your burnishing tool on hand. And I'm going to basically, I'm gonna flip this over and I'm gonna use my burnishing tool to flatten it as it goes, okay? So you're not gonna be able to see my burnishing tool as we do it.
So if anyone's asking, you know, we're Go Cut at laminate stickers, but if you're not using the, like what she's applying right now, that laminate protector, you would use just like printable vinyl setting is my favorite. You could use like for magnet sheets, you're like, oh my gosh, what setting? There's a magnet sheet setting, you know, anything like that. So anyone new here and you are hanging out with us today, I do want to let y'all know it's the last day to save $30 off our Flash 30 promo for President's Day. It was a little extended sale from the holiday, but today's the last day. So
it's the last one.
It's all, it's a really good deal for annual membership. If you're ready to go all in on yourself, get 1,000 cut files a month, and access to our entire library of training, cut files, fonts, community.
Yeah, and we like to talk to you guys, like in the Facebook group, like we can all be friends, you know? Okay, so I want y'all to see, I mean, 10 out of 10. There's no bubbles. There's none. So, okay, now what we need to do is load this into our Cricut. Okay, just loading this in. And we've already selected our settings in Design Space. And we're just using default pressure, and usually this works for me. Now, if this is your very first time making stickers, don't be scared to adjust your settings because some Cricuts are a little bit different. So the settings that I'm using may not work for your machine, and that's normal. Just know that's normal and don't get frustrated. Just go back into your material settings and adjust it if you need more pressure or less pressure or whatever you need. And that way you can get a good cut every single time. And then I'm just gonna hit go. And it's gonna read my registration box and then it will cut out my sticker.
Look at you go. And this is honestly the best way. I would argue like you get the best of both worlds here.
Yes.
I think for a lot of you that want to be really like intentional and making sure you're doing the best, this is the best.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
The best way that we can, because you know your Makers Learn team is like weighing the pros and cons of like being overly like protective and like making sure you create the best result,
right?
And like being realistic with like what looks good,
right?
This is what's gonna look best.
I feel like this gives it such a clean finish, like having this laminate. And I wish that y'all could reach through the screen and touch this sticker because it feels so good. I'm not going to remove it yet. That I never remove anything until I make sure that it's cut all the way through. So let's pull this up. This is a sticky standard grit mat. Praise. I love when that happens. Okay. Oh, black butter. Okay, we're gonna remove that. Okay. I'm just gonna pull this away and look. That is gorgeous. Okay, whenever you pull this off, flip it over. We don't wanna be curling our stickers. So we like to go with gravity. We're just going to remove this from the backer. And look, y'all, that's perfect.
That's it?
That's it. That's it. This is it for print and cut decals. I mean, that's all it takes, y'all. Like that's it. So, and this just looks so good. I just wish y'all could touch it. It just feels really good quality. So, this UV laminate is very. I mean, it even says it'll say on the packaging. It says specially formulated to repel dirt, water, and adhesives. It says this means the use of transfer tape may be difficult or even impossible. So this is covered, like your sticker is covered. It does say if your design has small parts that are separated, it may complicate the application. So make sure if you are doing decals, like with print and cut images, that you are adding an offset. If there are lots of tiny details, I would recommend an offset around the entire thing.
Yeah, and to make a really easy sticker, you want to have an offset. Like you want your shape to be something similar to like what Alicia did, like squares, rectangles.
Like an organic shape that isn't like super sharp and like pointy and all of that.
This is okay to put on a car. Yes, it is okay to put on a car, and it is removable. Do you need to add an overlay so that it protects past the edge of your sticker?
Okay, that's a good question, Melissa. So you all totally can do that. If you feel the need to add a small like offset around this so that the clear goes a little bit bigger than the sticker, I would recommend like a 0.05 offset, but you're going to need to cut your clear laminate separately from your sticker. So you can't cut them at the same time with the offset, if that makes sense.
Right.
So you would have to cut them at separate times, which makes the application process a little bit more tricky. That's why I do it this way. But if you feel like you need to do that, you can. Honestly, I feel like this is going to be pretty foolproof for you guys.
Yes.
If for some reason you try and it's not, let me know. Let me know. Right. I feel like this is going to work for you, though.
It's going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
It's going to be really good.
So that's it for those. Also, I don't recommend putting these directly on your car. I would recommend putting them on your window.
Yeah, okay. I love it.
So now that we've got our PNGs out of the way, let's just do like a monogram. I think a monogram is very popular always.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do a simple monogram decal. And I'm hoping that let's do a name. Let's do like Sadie.
Sadie.
Like Sadie's car.
Love
you know
it.
when people put like Sadie on her side and Shane on his side?
I did not know.
His and hers.
Yeah.
Sadie's not into that, I can tell. Okay, so if someone wanted to do like their name or Sadie's car, let's do that. So everyone knows, Sadie just got a new car also. That's a very cute. It's very nice.
We love it.
And then I'm just going to go ahead and pick my font. Now, I do recommend doing something thicker. You don't want to do anything super dainty for this. One, because it's not going to be legible. And two, like it's going to be, I don't know. You just want to be able to see it when you're driving. You know what I'm saying? Yes. You don't want anything super thin. So let's just find a good chunky font. Oh, that's cute. Okay, Sadie would never put this on her car, but we're going to go because this is a good chunky font. I feel like this would work just fine. And so, like I was saying earlier, you want to pay attention to the width and the height. Right now, we're like almost an inch high, but the width is like 6.3. We could just make this a solid 7 in width. I like that size. Okay, we're going to be cutting this in purple vinyl. You don't have to change it to purple, but I like to get a visual.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and hide our old image. And then what you're going to do next is just go to make it. And then, so we've got our little cutout right here. Now, you all can tell if this got any smaller, I don't know how well it would cut on our adhesive vinyl. So adhesive vinyl, it tends to not like smaller, intricate details. It's not as good as with that as HTV typically is. So we're just going to settle with that. I've got my standard grip mat here, and I, of course, am using Starcraft Permanent Adhesive. This is my favorite adhesive vinyl brand. I will stand beside, your car decals are gonna last longer if you're using high quality vinyl.
Yeah.
Your Dollar Tree vinyl car decals are not gonna last.
Here's the minimum, in my opinion. So there's permanent vinyl, there's removable vinyl, and at not necessarily Starcraft, but our other brand that has the 651s, help me out. Oracal. Yeah. 651 is the base.
Yes.
Do not go any lighter than 651 for a car decal.
Yeah.
And we've previously talked about this. Even a permanent vinyl is still removable. Like you're still gonna be able to peel it up, things like that, especially on glass.
Right.
On your car windows and things like that. So just remember the grade and it's the stickiness, the durability, things like that. That's why I want you to all imagine 651 is like your base. So for StarCraft Permanent, things like that, that's the same formula.
Right.
Pretty much.
So the
the
permanent will have like a higher tack than a removable vinyl it does. So if you're like noob to looking at vinyls and you're like, what's the difference? What's the difference? The permanent is going to be better for a car because it's going to stay on longer, but it's not actually permanent. So you don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not putting it on my car because it's never going to come off. It will. Sure. It will when you want it to, but it won't when you don't want it to. So we've got our mat here. I'm just going to go ahead and put my vinyl down. And then I've got my burnishing tool. Make sure that is down really well. Okay. And then I'm going to select continue. And we're just going to use the standard vinyl setting. So type in vinyl. Oops. So we've got premium vinyl, and I'm going to use a permanent glossy because that's what we're using today. Select done, and then we can go ahead and send this through the Cricut. Okay. I'm going to get my transfer tape ready. So I want to talk about if you're selling decals and the importance of the transfer tape that you use. I think using a good quality transfer tape is important. Like this is my favorite. Would you put, I just want to know your opinion because you prefer the masking transfer tape. Would you put that if you sold decals?
I would not use paper transfer tape for a customer.
Yes.
And the reason why is I just want it to be the best quality. Now, I have purchased decals that have a masking paper transfer tape on it.
Okay.
And it went on great. It went on perfect.
Yeah.
But for me, I would use this transfer tape, like Cricut transfer tape. I like the clear ones. I think the clear ones work better. I think
you can see.
You can see it. And as someone that may not have worked with transfer tape before, you have to remember that. So I want my customer to utilize the material that's easiest to use.
Right.
Even if it costs a little bit more.
I agree. And a lot of times people really like to use the gridded transfer tape too because it helps them line it up. So that's something that you can think about. My decal is cut. I'm just making sure that it cut all the way through, and it did. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And then we're going to go ahead and cut away the excess because we can use this vinyl another day. There we go. And then you're just going to want to weed away the excess. I think this cut pretty good. StarCraft vinyl weeds so good.
It does.
I just love it.
The link for printable vinyl you have is for a matte waterproof permanent sticker vinyl. So why would you need another waterproof matte film over top just to make it thicker? So Sabrina, we actually put that laminate over top our matte. We think the matte provides the best print quality. And then we think our laminate sheet, and notice how I say I think, like this is an opinion, okay?
Right.
You could just use the matte paper and just subtract the thought of using the laminate. No harm, no foul. But if you want it to last longer, the best durability, things like that, we take the laminate and put over top of our great print quality so that less discoloration, lasts longer, and that's just, in my opinion, the best way to do it.
Yes, I agree. And I think that having that extra layer really extends the life of the sticker. Like, I just feel like it helps a lot in that aspect. So that's why I recommend doing that. Okay, can y'all see what I'm doing here? Okay, we're just gonna put this on. Normally I would do the taco method, but this is a really long sticker.
Yes.
So I'm just going to line the bottom. This is a straight edge on the bottom because I cut it with the grid. So I'm gonna line that up with near the bottom of the Sadie's car as straight as I humanly can.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And then we're just going to burnish that down, and then you can remove it, and we're going to trim this baby up because it's looking a little crazy. Okay, and don't peel it up like me. Flip your mat over and then peel it off. I did that wrong. And then what we're going to do now is just remove all of this excess vinyl. I'm just going to cut this like so, trying to go as straight as possible. And listen, if you start selling decals, a paper trimmer is going to be your best bud because you can cut it super, super clean. And actually, I feel like, where did I put my scissors at? Oh,
you
here.
Just had them.
I was like, I just had it. I'm just going to cut with my scissors. I can do it a little bit cleaner that way.
Missed it. What was that font we used for Sadie's car?
Let's go back.
Let's double,
it's a new one.
It's a new one.
Bell bottom.
Bell bottom.
She's cute.
It's a good one.
She's cute.
I really like a thick font, you know, especially for a decal and things like that. So
yes, me too.
You found it. That is awesome.
Okay, so I wanted to just show you all how to apply these really fast. This is obviously not a car window, but it's a glass plate. I think it's from a Dollar Tree or something. This is a little bit long, so I'm just going to trim it. We're not actually going to be putting that on Sadie's car. So
Megan says, take us to Sadie's car and slap that thing on there.
It is a really cute font. Oh, yes. I just don't know if it's Sadie's vibe.
Oh, now tell us what you're doing here, Alicia.
Okay, so what I'm doing, first of all, making sure that it fits, and it does. Now that I've trimmed the car off, I've got my alcohol right here, a paper towel, and I'm just going to clean my surface. So
you would do this with the window.
Yes, you would do this with the window. I mean, make sure your car is clean. We had to do the thumbnail, you guys, is my car, and it was so dirty. And I was like, Sadie, I'm going to clean this corner of my window. And so with the thumbnail, it's like one clean corner of my car window.
That's awesome.
And that's it. The rest of the car was dirty.
I love it.
So I just clean that, and you want to make sure that it dries really well and don't touch it again after you cleaned it. And then I feel like I shouldn't be the person to show you guys this because I'm such not a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like this.
But you want to teach them how you became a non-perfectionist about it because you you just get more comfortable the more times you do it.
I agree. So I'm an eyeballer.
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to tell you guys how I learned how to be an eyeballer, but it's just the way my brain works. But I will say before we apply it, I like to squeegee it down on the front, flip it over, squeegee it down on the back, and then get up next to your window. We're going to remove the backing very slowly. And then we're just going to try to find the center. Now, I'm like at an angle, so don't come for me if this is crooked, okay? This is Sadie's plate now. And so I just kind of check the upper and the lower distance, as well as the left and the right distance here, and just adjust accordingly. And you can kind of touch it down right in the middle first, okay? And then we're just gonna lay that down slowly, and then you want to burnish it on really well. Now, your customers may not always have a burnishing tool, but I know that they've got a credit card or a debit card they can use. So they can whip that out, and you can even give them instructions for how to apply it if that helps. And then all you're going to do after that is just pull up your transfer slowly. Okay. And voila, there you go. Now I've got my price sticker on the back. So there's two things that I also want to talk about. If you are doing holographic vinyl, I want you all to make sure you are using the correct transfer tape.
Yes.
You cannot use this Caesar transfer tape with holographic vinyl or any of the like sparkly fun vinyl. You need a stronger tack for that, so make sure you know what tack to use for that. Another question that I see is, can I put it on the inside of my car window? Your windows are probably tinted, so no one's going to see it. And also,
the bubbles.
I don't know if there's not. This one's actually really not bad. Yeah. But a lot of times you'll get bubbles. So if you did do it from the inside, you'd have to mirror it first and then stick it. But it doesn't not
the
look
readability
good.
and everything does not look as good.
Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of lose it. So there's that. That's it. Yes.
All right. So Renee says, if you're making a multi-layered decal, how do you eliminate the tiny bubbles between the layers? So let's talk about that. So if I was doing a multi-layer vinyl decal, now Alicia was so kind to teach two different ways to do a decal. Mm-hmm. Number one, print and cut, and then bada bing, bada boom. Number two, you could just cut regular vinyl.
Just one layer.
Yeah. and provide them the transfer tape to apply it. So if I was going to do a multi-layer decal, and stack the vinyl layers, you would provide them with just the transfer tape after you've applied and stuck all the layers. So that's number one I wanted to mention. Number two, when you ask how do you eliminate tiny bubbles between the layers, you would just want to make sure to use that taco method as you're laying down the decals. I have a great tutorial where I teach, it's called how to do a multi-layer image. And I actually teach you my process of picking them all up. It's building a multi-layer bicycle. And you can just like pick each layer up. There's a secret hack and you'll see it all just adheres to the one piece of transfer tape.
Right, and we actually go over it in the 30 Days to Master Your Cricut. I did a tutorial on it as well, layering two layers. So if you're a member, that's actually in your dashboard under the 30 Days to Master Your Cricut. It's like how to layer vinyl, but same concept. And then if you do find that you're still getting bubbles, my favorite hack is to take a little pin tool or like a sewing pin, and you can literally stab it, just a little stab, and just kind of like go
even
over
it.
And it'll even itself out. But I try not to do that because sometimes you can see it.
Yes.
But you know, it happens. It's natural with vinyl. So
yes, I love it.
This is like a cool sticker craft.
This is a super, super cool sticker craft that is definitely one I think you all are going to want to recreate. I think you're going to absolutely love this craft once you see this. Like, it is phenomenal. But y'all, not only that, like that, our craft today is amazing. Let's talk about it's absolutely amazing.
And I want to just say that the sample of the project is on Courtney's laptop. So you're going to get to see the final product after we get done. Or in the thumbnail.
Yeah, you're going to have to see it in the thumbnail. Because it is clear it is not here.
Yeah.
But.
All right. So I've got a few supplies here. And like I said earlier, I don't have the finished sticker because we stuck them on Courtney's computer, but we did post a picture in the thumbnail of the one, and that it is like the cutest thing. We're gonna do some like wilderness, like outdoorsy vibe stickers. I feel like it fits the wooden sticker theme.
Agreed.
So that's kind of what I went with. Now we're gonna be working with Cricut brand natural wood veneer. Now we get lots of questions about wood veneer, like, can you use other brands, yada yada, and y'all know around here that we do not swear by Cricut products in terms of the materials that we cut on. So like, we don't necessarily use Cricut vinyl, we don't really use like Cricut HTV, but when it comes to wood veneer, I swear by the Cricut brand wood veneer. It's more consistent than a lot of other wood veneers, and it's the right thickness. Like, I know my cut settings are gonna cut all the way through. So I did link the Cricut wood veneer for you all. Now, if you have wood veneer at home and you want to test it out, you totally can. But I just swear by this, and I know what my cut settings are and stuff like that. So don't fix it if it ain't broken. You know what I'm saying? So there's lots of different shades of colors. I'm going to be using just these I have these scrap pieces from old projects. I also brought in a piece of dark because I hadn't tried this on dark yet, but I wanted to see what it looked like on the dark wood. But this is what the packaging looks like. So if you have a place like Joann's or Michael's where you can actually purchase the wood veneer in real life, this is what it typically comes packaged in. And I think it comes like, I don't even know, how many sheets are normally in this? 5, 6, 4?
I think so.
Yeah. So, and it can be a little bit pricey, but if you're making stickers on a 12 by 12 sheet, on like a standard sticker size, if you were doing like a 3-inch sticker, you can make a bunch of stickers on here. So, and you want these to be a pretty substantial size. We're not doing any dainty stickers. I actually pre-cut one out just to kind of have one ready, but that's a pretty good size. So, with that being said, we've got all of our wood veneer here. I do have some double-sided adhesive. Now, this is actually for rhinestones, but it's literally just a double-sided adhesive. I linked the Aleene's double-sided adhesive sheets. Yeah, and I swear by those. I love those, and I use them for everything, not just for this craft. I use them all of the time, which is a really random craft supply.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're very helpful. And then this is kind of the star of the show. The wood veneer, they're like a dynamic duo, you know? So this is the torch paste. Now this is from a small Etsy shop. They sell I think they just exclusively sell torch paste. Do they have other products on their Etsy shop? I don't know.
I don't know.
I linked it below for you all so that you can purchase it. But this is just a paste. I'll open it up for you guys. This is just an orange paste, and you apply it to wood and then apply heat to it, and it creates a wood burning effect, which is so cool. So we love to use this torch paste to do wood burning. And then I've also got just a pair of scissors, a brayer, and then I have a strong grip mat here. This is just a regular strong grip mat. And you're also gonna need a deep point blade, so stencil vinyl, and a heat gun. The heat gun is what we use to heat up this torch paste. This is the Star Mask by Starcraft stencil vinyl, which I linked below for you all. I just love this because it's tacky enough to make a good stencil, but it's not going to pull up my wood grain. So that's why I like the tack on this one a lot. And then we just have your standard heat gun, okay? So if you have an embossing, I know lots of you do like paper crafts and you do embossing, you can use an embossing heat gun too. We have one of those that I use sometimes for these smaller projects. And because it doesn't get as hot as the heat gun, so it's like a lower heat, but it gives you the same effect.
Did you talk about scorch marker versus somebody was asking?
No.
What about scorch marker instead of torch paste?
Okay, so scorch marker, if you have scorch marker and you don't have torch paste and you want to use it,
it's pretty much the same thing.
It pretty much is the same thing. We have used it a little bit around here. I'll say scorch marker, the last time I used it, which was a long time ago, okay, I'm going to preface by saying that. It's been months and months ago, and I think that they have fixed their formula. It was too runny for the stencil. So what would happen was I would use the scorch marker on the stencil, and then it would run under the wood grain. And so it was like when you went to apply the heat, it would be like it had bled through the wood grain. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's why the paste works better for me in this instance, because it's not gonna leak under the stencil. So that's just my 2 cents. But I think that the scorch marker, they have been trying to perfect that technique, and Tanner's really good friends with Evan, who owns scorch marker, and he is just like a go, go, go kind of guy. He wants to get it done. He wants to make sure it's perfect. So I'm sure he's fixed it or he's working on it if not. So as soon as we figure that out, I would love to play around more with the scorch marker personally. I think they're so cool. So anyways, we're gonna be using torch paste today. So with all that being said, let me pull up Design Space and we will start designing. Let me go to my projects. And I picked out some cutesy pootsy little sticker designs. These are all on the Maker's Gonna Learn website. If you become a member, you get immediate access to these files today. You can make your own wood veneer stickers. So these are the 3 that we're using. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. And yeah, so let's talk about how to make these. I'm gonna move these over just a little bit. So what you're gonna wanna do before you start designing or anything is go find the images that you want. Now I've linked every image that we use today in the description below, but I wanna show you all which images are gonna work and which images are probably not gonna be your best bet. My biggest thing is that you're using simpler shapes. So you don't wanna do anything that's super detailed. You can get pretty good cuts with the wood veneer and the deep cut blade, but you really don't want to do anything super, super detailed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be going in here and cutting out little tiny squares out of a globe or anything like that. I think I just searched mountains, y'all. You can search mountains or like wildlife or wilderness or whatever pertains to whatever you want to make. I just thought wildlife fits this vibe. And also, since we're creating a stencil, we don't want anything with too much detail. So something like this is a good. This is a yay for me. Let me show you a no. I'm trying to find an SVG. This one. This is a no for me. Like, these words are these words are way too small. the birds. Like this, you got to think, this is going on like a 3-inch triangle. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want anything super small. This one, the stars are going to give you like a really hard time. Now, if you're making a big sticker, like if you were making a really bigger wooden sticker, you could do something like that. This is a no. This is a potential candidate, but you just really got to pay attention. So no, anything that's a no probably has words. Probably. Now, if you wanted to,
lots of details.
The only thing I will say this, if you did have something that has words or like more details, you could cut this out of HTV and apply the HTV to the wood and make like an HTV wood sticker. But with the wood burning, we're making a stencil. So we have to really make sure that it's going to cut well, it's going to weed well, and that it's not going to seep under the stencil. Like there's a lot of room for error when you start using words and things like that on small stencil designs. So you just need to be mindful. I think this would be a really cute wooden sticker. But like, this is so small. The middles of these A's, like you're going to lose it. Do you know what I mean? So, let me type in, I think mine is like mountain scene. Okay, I'm gonna do this mountain scenes in geometric shape. This is just one of them that we have. And then you can see I click download, it pops into this folder, and then we're just gonna grab the SVG. So we're using a cut image today because we're making a stencil. So back in Design Space, I'm gonna go upload image, and then we're just gonna click and drag that SVG into Design Space. Let me shrink this down a little bit. Hold on, hold the phone, everybody. Design Space. Sometimes when it's full screen, it's hard to do the click and drag. Okay, and then we're going to not do that. We're gonna hit upload, okay? So we've got this image here, and then we're gonna add to Canvas. So whatever image you do, you're gonna do the same exact process. You're gonna upload the image, make sure you're choosing the right type of image, and then once it's in here, we're gonna resize this down. So you can see right now, it's about 6 by 5, but that's a way too big. This one, we made this one about 3 inches, okay? So this one's about 3. I've got this one right here. I'm just going to duplicate that. So we've got 3 there. And then this is another image off the website. Like I said, all these are linked below. And this one is 4 inches long by 1.3 tall. So that's pretty good, like standard sticker size for me. You don't want to go much smaller than this. You can go bigger, but I wouldn't go smaller because it's going to start getting a little hairy for you, like to weed and things like that. So once you have all of your images upload, what you're gonna need to do next is add an offset. And I like a pretty thick offset for this specific project. I just wanna show more wood. So this image that you're looking at right here, that is gonna be the burned image. So that's the image that's going on the sticker. The offset is gonna be the actual wood. So I'm gonna select the image that I want, and then we're gonna go to offset up here at the top. It's at a 0.25, which I think is actually perfect for this. I want to see what it looks like if we sharpen the corners. It doesn't really do much for me. Hold on. No, we're just going to keep them rounded and hit apply. Okay, I'm going to actually change this just to like a brown color similar to the wood. And then you can change these to like a dark brown if you want, just so you kind of get a visual. And then for the next one, we're gonna do the same exact thing, add an offset, and then you can change the colors if you want. That way, you know, all of these are gonna be cut out of the same color vinyl, which is that stencil vinyl, and then all of the light tan is gonna be cut out of the wood veneer. I'm gonna change this color to that light brown, and then while it's still selected, we're gonna hit offset. And now if you're doing something like this wild and you're wanting a thinner offset, I just want you guys to be aware. Do you see when I shrink that offset, the gaps in between the tree and the W and then the L and the D, they're not gonna be attached. So you've really gotta make sure this offset is big enough to where it's touching all the way across. So you can see everything. This is gonna be one solid piece of wood. And then I'm gonna hit apply. And we can change it to that light brown color. Okay, that's like pretty much it for Design Space. Does anybody have questions on what we've done so far? It's pretty easy to set up. It really is. In Design Space, everything is set up exactly how we want it. I'm just gonna delete these old ones. And then what we're gonna do is go over here to our Make It screen. Now, I've got all of my wood pieces selected right here. And then these are all of my vinyl pieces. So let's start with the wood pieces. Now, let's go overhead because we've got to do a little bit of prep before we go in here and start cutting these willy-nilly. So what I'm gonna do, I want to test it out on this brown. I don't need to cover this entirely with this double-sided adhesive. I actually only need it to be about halfway down. Like, I just need this like corner covered. So I'm just gonna cut me a little piece off of this. You can also, little hack for you, you can use cat scratch tape for these. If you've got cat scratch tape from making cat scratch tumblers with us forever ago. I thought we had some, but I couldn't find it. And Lauren was like, hey, I've got this. I was like, ooh, that'll work.
Yep.
And I tested it and it works great. So what I did, I just cut a little piece big enough to cover the area that we're going to be cutting our stickers.
This is actually going to be really good for our friends who did Maker U sophomore year. If you bought the stuff for diamond dots, this is exactly what that is.
This is the diamond dot double adhesive. So you're wanting a very sticky adhesive because we're working with wood. So you don't want anything that's going to be like a sissy. It needs to really do the job.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to actually line this up. Okay. And then I'm going to take my brayer because I want to make sure this is on here really good and smooth.
And all the bubbles are out, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you want to get all the bubbles out. It's just going to give you a better cut, honestly. And then, not me about to weed that off. So we're going to leave this backer on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this towards the mat. Okay. So I'm going to take my strong grip mat and I want this to be in the top left corner. So I'm going to flip it over. We're cutting from the front where the wood is. I'm just going to line this up. This mat was sticky earlier when I used it.
Is it not now?
It's sticky, but I don't trust it. So I'm going to put some painter's tape or like washi tape, masking tape, anything is going to work good here just to keep this in place. You don't want this moving while it's cutting. So just tape it right there along the edge. I'm going to do it on all four sides just to really make sure it's not going to be moving. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Does anyone have any questions? Nobody?
Jamie did ask for Make-a-thon. We'll be getting a list in advance of what products you will need. You actually should have already gotten that in your email. So Deb, I know Sadie responded to you, but I just want to reiterate that for everyone else who may have the same question. If you are curious on the supplies that you may need for Make-a-thon, definitely check your email. Especially if you got a Make-a-thon box, because if you got a Make-a-thon box, there's not a ton that you're gonna need outside of that. Also, if you haven't gotten your Make-a-thon box, if you haven't received that yet, reach out to customer care.
Yes.
So we can make sure we get you a box very soon.
Definitely, because it's coming up. I can't believe March is coming up. It's cray-cray. Okay, so I just hit continue on the share screen. Now, we're going to go to browse all material. So I am using an Explorer 3 today. You can cut these with the Explorer or the Maker Series. And we're just going to type in natural wood veneer. I love when I have a Cricut product that matches up with the cut setting. It just, I'm like, I know it's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? It just gives me lots of hope.
Okay, my next question.
Okay.
Since you added that backer,
Yeah.
do you need to cut it on more pressure? Do you want it to cut all the way through? Or do you need to cut it, leave it on regular?
So if you cut it on more pressure, for me, and I'm telling you right now, I've been using a Maker to practice these on. I have not done it on the Explorer 3. So it's really gonna depend, but on the Maker series, I use natural wood veneer. it cut through the sticker, but not through the backing.
Which is what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's what you would want.
Right.
I mean, that's good enough. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be, you're going to be able to take the sticker right off and then use it.
Right.
So I'm just going to keep it how it is.
Okay.
And we'll see
I was
what
just
happens.
asking.
Yeah.
I knew that our friends would ask, so I just wanted to ask for them.
No, that's a great question. Laura, we're actually using the Diamond Dot double-sided adhesive, but I've linked the Aleene's double-sided sheets. Those are amazing. I use those for everything. And then cat scratch tape. So really, we don't discriminate. If there's adhesive on both sides, as long as it is a very strong adhesive, then you're going to be good to go.
Yeah, you don't have to. And the reason that we didn't link this Diamond Dots double-sided adhesive is, one, because it's more on the expensive side.
Yeah.
And the very first time that Alicia did this, she used the Aleene's double-sided adhesive,
Right,
and it
was
worked
fine.
great.
Yeah.
We literally just didn't have any in the office and didn't have enough time to go get some.
Yes. So, and it's hard to find, like, you can't find it in person. You have to order it. So, anyways, we're going to be using that. And in Design Space, it's telling me to load my deep point blade. Now, if you're like, what's the difference between a deep point blade and a fine point blade? Let's go over ahead and I'll show you guys the difference just real quick. So I've got two here. Now, this is the deep point blade. This is the fine point blade. They look similar, like the shape and everything. Deep point housing is black. Fine point housing is silver. But y'all, these blades can be removed. I could technically put a deep point blade in my silver housing and it would work exactly the same. So you can get like deep point blades without getting the housing. I personally like to have that black housing. That way I know that's my deep point blade. You know what I'm saying? It's like your separate fabric scissors. You want to have them separate from your other stuff.
Right.
But these deep point blade, this is a 60-degree angle. Can you all see that?
That's the thing that I don't think they're going to be able to see the difference in the angle.
No, it's hard to tell.
But that is one of the reasons why the blades are interchangeable in the silver regular fine point blade housing. Mm-hmm. However, as creatives and crafters, unless you are very, very like on top of things, but if you're creative, I think there's a lot of times that our brains work different than others. So putting that deep point blade in a silver housing, you're not going to be able to, if you forget that and you didn't change it out, you're not going to be, if the difference in the two is so microscopic, like it's going to be hard for you to tell the difference.
Visually, you can't hardly tell. I mean, it sticks out a little bit more, that part you can tell, but the black one, the deep point housing, it is at a 60-degree angle, and it is technically made out of a more durable steel. So anyways, that's just the differences. Same goes for the fabric blade, if y'all didn't know. It's in a pink housing, but it's literally a fine point blade in a pink housing. So fun facts. Anyways, so what we're gonna do is slide this in. Now remember, I've got my sticker adhesive on the back side up here in this top corner, so make sure you're loading your mat in correctly because it's gonna cut up in that area. And then we need to put in our deep point blade when it comes back out here. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop this in, make sure it's all the way down. Also, make sure that your blade is clean and free of debris. I sometimes will just like blow on it just to make sure. And then you can close that. And then we're just gonna cut it. We're just gonna cut it. Here we go. Say a prayer. Okay, cool. And the only thing, I wanna just say this, when you're working with wood, wood is inconsistent, just naturally. Like, there's wood grain in it, and so sometimes it's thicker to cut through than others. It's like when you're working with glitter materials, it's kind of inconsistent on the cut sometimes just because glitter is like, has more glitter in some areas and less glitter. So it's gonna cut cleaner in some areas versus others. Same goes for wood. So if you find, and I'll show you what I do before we pull this off, because we can recut this if it doesn't cut all the way through. You can just send it through for one more pass and get it all the way cut through. But it did fine for me on the maker. So I'm trusting that it's going to be fine. Yeah.
If you have had your Cricut for a while and you're looking for something different to do, it definitely gives you the option to do different things.
Yeah, and it is very cool to work with. Okay, I'm checking to make sure that this cut all the way through. It's feeling like it did. It's hard to tell on these wood veneers. So I'm just taking my weeding tool and kind of lifting. I think it cut. We're gonna risk it. Risk it for the biscuit. Okay, so now we can remove this whole piece of wood. Oop. Okay. And so you can see it did not really cut through the back. That was from me jabbing the weeding tool out. Let me see if it cut. It did. It's just wanting to stick. I'm telling y'all, this double-sided adhesive that we're using is so sticky. Oh, maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't cut all the way through. Yeah, it did. Just being finicky. Okay. Sometimes, and if you have any areas that kind of stick, you can use an X-Acto knife to kind of pop them out. I'm only taking this off right now because I want to show you all that this adhesive is on the back here. So now you have the wooden sticker. Like this is it, but we have to add obviously the design on it. This is where you could do HTV or you can go ahead and do the stencil. I'm just going to put this back on here for the next step in this project. And I'm going to remove all this tape because we're about to be applying a pretty significant amount of heat to this, okay? Let's see here. So we've got our torch paste. I'm going to get this here. You do want to have some gloves. I'm going to use this paintbrush. So I'll act like I'm about to apply the torch paste, but we need to cut our vinyl first. So let's go back into design space. I've got these designs ready to go. These are going to be cut on the stencil vinyl cut setting. Not reusable stencil cut. That's not what we're working with. We're going to be actually cutting stencil vinyl. Okay, so this cut setting right here. And then this one is going to just need the fine point blade. This strong grip mat is not super sticky, so we're going to use it for cutting our vinyl, but normally you would use a standard grip mat for this type of vinyl. And we don't need a full sheet, just a little bit. I'm going to braid this down and then we can trim her up. Let's see, I'd say about there's good. Do y'all have any questions about what we just went over as far as cutting the wood? Things like that. Anything about the blades that y'all want to know?
Heather said that she's been trying to calibrate her knife blade, but it keeps saying machine can't find the blade. I agree with Aaliyah on this. I think that's one of those you're going to have to contact Cricut support.
And that is an issue.
That one.
I've heard people say that they're having issues with that. Actually, I feel like I had an issue with it recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, because Cricut customer service is very helpful, y'all. Like if you haven't used them before, they're very helpful. Okay, so I've got it set to stencil vinyl. Let's go ahead and switch our blade out. Where did I put our fine point blade? Okay, just gonna stick that one there. Make sure that's all the way down. Pop it in. I'm also going to be using Caesar transfer tape for this vinyl. This is a good pairing here. I'm just going to trim this up. Okay, this is cutting pretty dang good. So for the torch paste, you are going to want to use a paintbrush. You can use a smaller one than this. This is just what we had on hand. I've got some gloves here. And I am going to keep this stuff on here. I'm not going to take it off because I discovered whenever I applied the heat to these, they tried to curl up a little bit and I didn't want them to curl up like the wood veneer was trying to curl. So I feel like if I leave it on the sticker, it's going to be better. So we're going to test that out.
So we did have someone ask.
Okay.
Can you use regular vinyl to make a stencil, or do you need to use stencil vinyl? That is a great question.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit earlier. Like, I was saying that if you are working with wood, you're not going to want to use permanent vinyl. So the reason being is permanent vinyl pulls up your wood grain. And so you don't want to apply that permanent vinyl and then peel it off after you've done your wood burning or whatever, and then it like peel up your wood grain. It just looks bad.
You can,
but removable's better.
Removable vinyl. So a lot of times the mattes are a more removable vinyl than a glossy.
Yes. And like if you shop on 143 vinyl, you can actually shop removable or permanent. And typically it says removable or permanent. But I just love this stencil vinyl. The tack of it is exactly what I like. And so it's just what I like to use. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm weeding the right parts here.
We did have someone ask, Emily asked if we joined back in January, do we get the hack book? It really depends on if we were running the special.
Mm-hmm.
If you are concerned, if you're confused if you get the book or not, I would email customer care for sure. Shelly, we do have a venture. We have a few videos on the venture. We don't have a lot, and that's strictly because we feel like there's a lot of people that
don't have
it. We do have some of our friends on here that do have the machine, but we do have a couple videos, and we do have the machine.
I was trying to decide if I wanted to use the negative space on this or this part. I'm going to use that part. Yes, that's fine. I was making sure I could do it. My brain was having a brain fart. Okay, and then here, let's do this. Make sure you're weeding the right parts.
Mm-hmm.
When you're working with stencils, it can be a little confusing.
It can be very confusing.
Yeah, so just remember, and I think I did it right. Fingers crossed. This is weeding like a dream. I love when that happens. Look at it. Weeded so good. Okay. Now another thing whenever you're working with stencils is that you want to give yourself a little bit of room around the stencil for if you're applying paint. Look what happened. This is why you don't use a strong grip mat with your vinyl. Because the paper sticks to it. It wasn't that sticky though, so I didn't think it was going to stick. Of course it stuck when I didn't want it to. You want to have room around your stencil because we're going to be applying that burn paste, and we really, really do not want to go out of the lines.
So we did have a friend, Shelly, ask if she could do this with a venture. I do know that the housing on the venture is different than it is on an Explorer. Although it's a fine point blade, I would have to do some research. I'm assuming that you can use a deep point blade on a venture.
Yeah.
We haven't though. So.
No, we haven't, but I don't see why you couldn't if you can use a fine point blade. I just don't know, like, I'm sure they have natural wood veneer settings. Okay, there's that one. And then, do you see how I'm leaving space around these? I just want to have room for mistakes because when we apply this paste, obviously we want to make sure that it's not getting anywhere we don't want it to be. And I'm going to do this one for the wild. I'm going to this is going to be like our little tester piece because he is not attached to the rest of the wood veneer still. So you all can kind of see what would happen if you pulled out the wood versus if you just leave it in here right after it's cut. So now I'm going to take my transfer tape. Let's just sit these here. And I'm going to apply these individually. You want a smooth application of vinyl because if there are bumps and bubbles in the vinyl, when you go to apply that torch paste, it's going to seep under the stencil, okay? So I'm just applying that. And the Caesar transfer tape is just a medium grip, good all around transfer tape.
Yeah.
And then we're going to remove this backing. I am reusing the transfer tape that I just used, because why not? And you can see how easy it is. It just applies right on there. Now, lining it up, I'm sorry if my big old head's in the way. You can see, like, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I can see the cut lines behind
The stencil vinyl?
the stencil, right.
That's another good thing about using the stencil vinyl, is because it is opaque enough that you can see through it.
Yes. And honestly, if you let's go in Design Space. I want to show you all something. If you do not have stencil vinyl, this is what I want to show you how to do. I'm going to, so let's say that we wanted to cut this sticker out right here, okay? Mm-hmm. What I would do is duplicate this and make it, like, we'll keep it brown. We're going to change this light brown offset to the same color. And then you can just click and drag, select the offset as well as the image, and attach. And what that's going to do is give you that exact border so you can line it up to this. So it's going to cut this out, and then you can line it up exactly to this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that's just a little helpful tip if you don't have stencil vinyl and you want to recreate this. Okay, so we've got, and I'm going to burnish these down again after I take this transfer off, just to really, really make sure that everything is on there nice and good. This really is chef kiss stencil vinyl. It is, Donna. It's amazing. So just take your burnishing tool, being very careful and mindful of your little pieces. Just kind of pushing these down. We don't want any of that torch paste seeping up under there. And then I've got my wild sticker here. We're going to apply this one. Okay. I love this wild file. It's one of my favorites.
What?
It's just not lined up. I can't talk or breathe or think.
I feel you.
Okay. I think that's good. Okay. And then we're going to remove the transfer. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so we have all of our stickers ready to go. I'm gonna put my gloves on. You can follow all the PPE protective precautions that you want. We're gonna be wearing gloves. You can put glasses on if it makes you comfortable. And then make sure before you start that you stir this up really good. Ours, honestly, I probably need to get some more.
You know you can make your own.
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah.
We have a video on this
We do
somewhere.
have a video that it's a member only video. It is in the classes section. If you just type in wood burn, it will pull it up. It's from a while ago, actually.
Yeah, it's from a while ago.
Yep.
But you know what? We're going to make it work with what we've got. Now, this takes some practice, okay? Because it's hard to know how much is enough, how much is too much. You don't want to get too much, but you also don't want to get too little. So I just kind of get some out, scrape off the excess on the edge of my container, and we're just going to spread this out. Now we want a good, thin, even coat, okay, because it'll burn heavier in places that you've got more. So you don't want to get like any chunky sections or it's gonna bubble up. It'll like blister up almost. And we're just gonna spread this out. It needs to be super smoothed out, and it does have an orange tone, so that kind of helps you see if you've missed any spots. It's very easy to miss spots on this. So smooth it out really good, but make sure you're getting every little corner.
The devil is in the details with these.
Yeah, really. You need to get up there close to it.
But remember, anywhere that this torch paste goes outside of your sheet, like your stencil vinyl, it will torch as well.
Right. You know what? Aaliyah said something about Asher starting Boy Scouts and how these would be cool for a bag. I wonder how well, if you put heat and bond on the back of these, that they would adhere to something like fabric, like a backpack. I just wonder.
I wonder how it would adhere to the wood. The heat and bond.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if there's like another type of adhesive we could use. I don't know. Now, that Aleene's, those are technically fabric, like permanent fabric adhesive sheets, I think. They're like meant for fabric to fabric.
Oh.
Yeah, so maybe it would just be fine with just that. So I'm just really making sure I'm not letting this get too thick in any areas. When I first did
I could
these,
also see these on a hat.
oh yeah, that'd be sick. Also, for a Craft Month kickoff, we're doing leather stickers, y'all.
Ooh, I'm excited about those.
I know, me too. I mean, what else can we make stickers out of?
I know.
After we did this one, we were like, what about leather? We could
If
do
we do
leather
wood,
stickers.
we can do leather.
Yeah. So, okay, so I've got those done. I'm going to apply it to this one now. You know, it'd be so cute if I did this little tree burnt and then like painted the letters black or something.
That would be cute.
That's just an idea. We won't do it today, but you could totally do paint. I would probably do the wood burning first and then go in and do the paint. So we've got, oh, that W's a little thick. Listen, go back, make sure that it's not gunked up because I'm telling y'all, it won't look as good, okay? It'll like burn more in areas that you don't want it to burn. Okay, beautiful. I'm feeling good. Feeling good about that. I'll put my lid back on. I should have put a ponytail holder in. And then we're going to do these first. So let's plug in our heat. And make sure whatever surface you're working on, you can apply heat to. Like you're not gonna wanna do this on a cloth surface.
And it's one of those things, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like the further you hold it away, like the less bendy it gets. Like you have to be close enough to burn it.
Right.
But you also have to be far enough away that it doesn't like damage your...
Like 10 inches away.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good place to be. Now if you get too close, it'll melt your vinyl and it'll bubble up your torch paste. So you really just want to stay, like I'm already getting too close. You see my lunch lady arms going?
No.
I'm not supposed to say that. I think we got in trouble when I said that. Anyways, you can see it drying out and you can hold it on some areas like, and it'll start burning. Here, I'll hold it right here so you all can see. But like I said, that vinyl gets really hot and melty.
Someone was asking about taking the stencil off first before
Some
you
people,
burn.
okay, so it technically says to, but I never do.
Oh, I always do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Let's take it off of one. We'll take it off of one just for funsies. I'm gonna take the stencil off of this one and then we'll keep it on the other one. Just to see.
To see if there's a difference.
Yeah. Oh, what's it doing?
Is it moving your paste a little bit?
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna take it off of this one.
Yeah.
So this one's...
Or just leave what's on the inside there and burn the outside and then come back and get the little pieces on the inside.
Yeah. We'll just do, so like, Okay. So this one, we take the stencil off. That one we didn't. I'm going to set that to the side because we're not doing it yet. And then make sure, just throw your stuff away so you're not burning everything up. And you can play around with like getting closer and further away, but y'all can see this wood is trying to warp a little bit already. So slow and steady really wins the race here.
Wins the race for this project.
And like once it starts burning, it like goes really fast.
Very fast.
Yeah. It's like preheating the oven. It just takes a minute.
So, and there's something else with this, expect it to curl, but then after you're done with the burning, you can lay it under something heavy to flatten it back out.
Yes. It's burning. Can y'all see it? I'm too close. Do you see what's happening? It's getting real, like...
I can't tell. It's behind.
Getting real sooty.
Yeah.
You can see over here where I put too much, it's bubbling up, but it's not on the where we need it to be, so it's okay. But you can tell, like, that's what would happen if you got too much of that torch paste on here. It's getting nice and crispy. I'm about like 3 or 4 inches away here, which is probably a little bit too close. But you can adjust it as needed. If you see it's burning too much, just kind of pull it away. It's kind of satisfying to watch. And you want to make sure to get all, especially like with this triangle, you want to get all the corners and make sure it really looks nice and sharp. Okay. She is crisping. She is crispy. Celeste says, make sure to get the vinyl out of the D. Yes, I did. I mean, I know. I saw it. It's toasty, but it's not like too hot. Okay, so we're going to pull this off. Look at that vinyl stretching. This is why you should take your vinyl off before, probably. A part of me feels like the vinyl still protects the wood a little bit with the wood veneer. So that's why I'm like iffy about, I know you should take it off, but.
Yeah, no, I mean, that one corner got real toasted, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. And the vinyl will stretch because it's still hot. Now you could probably let this cool all the way down and you'd be fine. But just for the sake of the live stream, we'll go ahead and take them off for y'all. Look how pretty it's already coming out. And these are rustic, so don't, you know, there's going to be a couple areas where the wood got hot and naturally wood is going to burn when heat's applied to it. So, but it's still really cool. Like, I feel like if anything, it adds to it, you know?
Plus, the cool thing about this is you can take a very light grit sanding block and you can just give it a good, like, just one-off sand.
Yeah.
And some of that burn area on the outside will go away.
Right. So I'm just weeding off all of that stencil. I just love these, y'all. I just think they're so cute. And then you can weed out all these little water waves. Now, see, do you guys see what I mean? If you were to use permanent vinyl, how it would pull up that wood veneer. It's so thin, and even the stencil vinyl is trying to snag it in some spots. It's not, but you can tell it wants to. If the tack was any higher than the stencil vinyl, it's probably going to pull up your wood grain, unfortunately. So definitely use, if you know that you've got removable vinyl, I would definitely recommend that over permanent. Uh-oh, it's trying to come up. Okay, I'm concentrated. And just make sure you get all these little pieces out.
Do you need me to go grab a sanding block or anything?
Let's see. Yeah, you can grab one just for us to have. Also, I learned this from working with lasers, but rubbing alcohol will remove burn marks on wood. It's not great in my opinion. Like, it will do it. It's not great, but it'll remove some of those like residual burn marks. Okay, I'm gonna pull this off. Bless you.
Bless you.
Oh, it's just snagged a little bit. Y'all, this adhesive is so sticky. Oh my gosh. And then you would just be able to apply this wherever. Now, see, sometimes that happened to me last time really bad. This time, I mean, I kind of fiddled with how I did it last time, but typically if it's cut really well, it will not do that. If it's not cut well and you try to pull it up, it'll snag some of the back of that wood, and you can see that's what happened there. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this one, and I'm gonna put this one under here as well, so you all can kind of see what goes on with both of these. Oh, there we go. So this one we removed the vinyl from. You remove the middle of that D before I'm thinking about it. Donna says, I use alcohol to remove scorch marks on some of the wooden laser items I have cut. It works pretty good. Yeah, it will. But it didn't work great on the wood veneer because I tried it last time. I don't know, I think because it's just thinner. Celeste, we're going to be going live twice a week for the next little bit. We kind of held up for going live twice a week because we were working on that craft hack handbook for y'all. So we're back for now.
For now.
We'll definitely be going live at least once a week, no matter what. But this week you get us 3 times. You get us today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And last week we were here 3 times, weren't we? We had masterclass and 2 live streams last week. Didn't we? Or was it just 2?
I guess we did.
I can't remember. So really we're like drying this out and then coming in a little bit closer and putting more heat on more concentrated areas. I feel like that's kind of the pattern that I catch myself doing here. I don't want to burn that wood. I only want it to burn. You can see it's like trying to burn right here. I don't want it to do that. But sometimes if the wood's thinner there, you honestly can't get around it. It's just the way it is.
Now, somebody did say earlier, they said, looks like this is something I can do with I can try on my Aura. Yes, if you have a laser, you can definitely do these on your laser. This is just for people who want the look of like a laser project, but maybe you don't have a laser.
Right. I love that mountain file. I think it's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna let that cool down for a second. Let's do this one. Please don't blow away. That backer is trying to curl up on me. You see it curling?
You might have to use like a weeding tool to hold it down.
I know a part of me wants to just like
tape it on the...
Yeah, let's just tape the edges. So we think that'll work? I don't want to...
Yeah.
I don't know. We're fitting to find out. Let's just put a piece here. We need it to stay down. A part of me feels like it's going to curl up anyways. But we can try it. Okay. It's like curled up, so it does not want to stay stuck to the table. Do you see it trying to pop off?
Pop off, sis.
It's trying to pop off, sis. Okay, let's try again. And anyways, if your sticker curls up, whenever you apply it to whatever surface, like if you put it on a laptop or you put it on something else, it's gonna be flat when you apply it, so it's not that big of a deal. But still. This one is trying to crack, like the wood veneer is trying to crack for some reason.
Oh, I can see it.
It's just because the wood's getting too dry from applying so much heat, but it's okay. Like I said, it gives it character, you know? You can see it's starting to burn. I'm just like tapping where I want to have a little bit more heat, but I don't want to do it for a long time.
Right.
That's cute. Okay, but curled up. But like I was saying, when you apply this to something, it's not going to be that bad. Now that's going to be toasty. We're going to let him cool down. Let's weed this one and see how it did. Love it. Okay, I lost a couple wood pieces here, but it's okay. It still looks really cute.
Yes, President's Day sale is all this week, but the Craft Hack Handbook is only today, Monday, February 19th.
Okay, I just tore off that backing. I want to like put this on something. Can I just put it on my cup? Because I want to see if it's going to sit, you know? Let's put it on the back side. Probably not good to put it on a round surface.
Or a cup that's going to get wet.
Yeah, I'm just want to see if
But
it,
it looks
how it would
good.
apply. Yeah, I mean, this is just a very cool, unique little craft. These would make, someone said magnets, and I was like, yeah, magnets would be super cool. So anyways, that's pretty much, that's how you do it. And then this one, obviously, you can just pop this off, and the adhesive is on there, and you are ready to go. Here's our other one. Very cool. And that's it, guys.
Very cool.
Yes. So, you all have been asking for this project forever. So, we were like, we just have to do it. This is sublimating stickers. Now, I know it took us forever to come around to this. I'm just going to go over and talk at the table.
Let's go dive in.
Okay, so y'all have been asking for, I brought my chair, okay, in case I need it. You all have been wanting to do sublimation stickers. We have been getting so many questions about this for like months now, and we really resisted it. Like, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you all. I resisted it hard because
Lauren really resisted.
yeah,
it.
me and Lauren we all, up until I did it, we were like, what's the actual point of this? I feel like it's an extra step. I feel like it's more expensive. But I want to show you all the reason why I think that this is better than we expected. And if we can go overhead, I'm just going to show you all. These are some stickers that we made. This is sublimation stickers. So these stickers were printed on sublimation paper, sublimated onto sticker paper, okay? And then they're then cut. We use the extra for these. But like, I don't know if it translates as well in the actual camera. The quality of the like ink on these is so good. Like, that was the most surprising to me because I just wasn't really expecting much difference. But the saturation in the ink of these printed stickers is so good.
I love that.
And that's really what sold me on sublimated stickers. So I'm going to be showing you all everything that we like to do to sublimate stickers. And we're also going to be using the Cricut Joy Extra today.
Now,
so I'm really excited.
Can we just debate for a second? Why did you have the resistance?
Well, for one, sublimation ink is so much more expensive.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would it's an extra step in my brain because you have to print it first. You print it on your sublimation printer. And then you have to turn the heat press on, which I don't want to turn this on unless I'm doing a bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
Like, I don't want to sit and wait for it to preheat. and then you have to sublimate it, and then you have to print and cut it. And I'm like, that's just so extra. I can just print it on an inkjet printer.
Do you
and cut it.
still need to put the protective vinyl to waterproof it, or is it truly waterproof now?
It's truly waterproof, is what they say. Now we'll dip it in some water to test it in real life.
But it's still paper and it's still a sticker,
right?
So it's up to that quality. But if we're talking from a ink smearing,
right?
So if you've experienced a lot of smearing, this is why we are teaching this as an option for you. And again, the quality is so good. It's going to be really neat. I think you're going to really enjoy this. And again, we are using Makers Gonna Learn files today. So if you're not a member, get in there. If you have been a member, get ready to make some fun stickers.
And these files I'm using today are so cute. They're some of our newer files. I just really love them. So
and you cannot any sticker paper is not sublimation ready.
Oh, no.
So you would have to check out the links.
Okay, so let's talk about what you're gonna need to do sublimation stickers. So this is and there's other brands, but we decided to go with the HTV Ront sublimation sticker paper. So you are going to need a sublimation sticker paper. It will say sublimation stickers. Anything that's sublimation is going to have a poly coating, okay, a polymer coating. The process of sublimation requires polymers because the ink from the sublimation ink, whenever it's heated and there's pressure applied, turns into a gas and it adheres to the polymers on the coating of the blank, of the sticker paper in this instance. So this is a very specific type of sticker paper. You're not going to be able to just use any sticker paper that you have. Now, I'm sure there are hacks out there. I know there are hacks in order to make what you have work. But this is going to be your best bet. And this is what we printed the stickers I just showed you all on. And it looks good, y'all. It's crispy. It looks so yummy. And I love this HTV Ront brand. HTV Ront is a pretty solid brand in most aspects of, their products. They're pretty tried and true. There's a couple things that we have kind of missed on with them, but this is really good. And then I'm just going to be using the ASA brand of sublimation paper. Now, a lot of times we'll get questions like, can I just print on regular copy paper with my sublimation ink? I have not tested that out yet, but if anyone is curious, maybe we'll try that out one day, just printing it on regular printing it on regular copy paper and then trying to sublimate it onto this. If you try it, let us know. And then, so those are the main ingredients. Obviously, you're gonna need a printer. So this is the Epson SureColor printer, and I wanna say the F170, yes. So this is a sublimation ready printer. Now, if you watched yesterday's webinar, Lauren talks about which printers that you need to purchase. Now, we go into way more detail when you get inside of the sublimation course, but it's really helpful to watch that webinar and kind of get a taste for how far are you willing to go to convert a regular inkjet printer into a sublimation printer, or do you just want to go ahead and dive right in and invest in a sublimation printer? This is one that we recommend. This is the Epson SureColor. It's sublimation ready and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Alicia,
you're ready
what
to go.
are your thoughts on if it would, do you think these would fade?
I think they would fade less.
Fade less, okay. So
I mean, I guess it just depends on how exposed to the sun they are.
Yeah. Okay, so in general, compared to inkjet printers, our guess would be is going to need, it's going to fade less.
I think. I wish I need to put these on something that I'm going to have out in the sun, on my car or something.
Right.
Mainly because I do worry a little bit because with sublimation, heat, will re-release those gases in the ink.
Right.
So we've even done how to undo your sublimation tumblers, and we put them back into the oven to de-sublimate them. So the heat will disperse those ink particles back out and it kind of diffuses the ink back out. So you got to think, if you put a sticker like this out in the sun, it may fade quicker than just a regular inkjet ink, but I don't know because I haven't tested that out. But that's a really good question. So
and y'all, please go back. Lauren's webinar is still available.
Oh yeah.
Definitely watch it this week.
Yeah, it came out yesterday, y'all.
It is so good. It's actually her second time doing it, and it just gets better.
Oh yeah, we agreed that yesterday's was even better than the first one. It was so good.
Love it.
So I've got the Cricut Joy Extra over here. Like I said, we've got our printer. This is the Extra. We can go overhead. Let me see if y'all can see this. Look how cute. He's so little. So it's very small compared to a standard like Cricut Maker or Explorer. I love how sleek it is. It's just like a little white guy. Like he's just going to fit wherever, and he's so clean looking. And then it comes with this mat that is a 12 by 8 inch mat. This is a light grip. This one came with our bundle. So I just purchased a bundle, and it was like, it has like some smart vinyl in it, some markers, other things like that. But this comes with it whenever you purchase. And I'm going to be cutting overhead today, so you all are going to really get a good look at how it cuts, like while it's cutting. I do have some heat transfer tape or like sublimation tape. I've got a brayer, and then we have our big clamshell heat press. Now, when you're working with sublimation and you are doing like a smaller 8.5 by 11 project, if you have a press that's big enough that's going to cover your entire sticker paper, you can just use that. Or if you're just sublimating like a couple stickers, you can use a smaller heat press. But you don't want to go in with like a mini easy press and do something like this. You need to make sure that your press is going to cover your entire design space. So that, butcher paper, and you need butcher paper. So those are the main things that you're going to need to complete this project. So let's go ahead, jump into design space. I'm going to show you all everything that you need to know over here. Let me zoom out. I've already got these pulled in for y'all. So I didn't really have a theme. We've got some honky tonk going on here.
These stickers are amazing, and I just want to let you guys know, if you're a Makers Gonna Learn member, go to your print and then cut area. Almost any one of those print and cut images would be great stickers.
Yes.
So super, super fun for you guys to prowl around, pick out, search for different things. It is so good.
I can show you. I'm just going to show you where to go.
Show us some, yeah.
Because you can go and look for, if you're like, I don't know what I would use for stickers.
Right.
Look, we've already like, right here, print and cut
Boom.
files. So we just got some new ones. Look at these cute Christmas disco ball. Are you kidding me? We've got these new 3D puff ones. So whenever you come in here, if you're very unsure and you're like, I don't even know which ones would be a print and the cut, which ones are just a cut file, what I want to encourage you to do is just browse through and see which one that you like. So let's just take this little hippie Halloween. Okay, I'm going to download this. Okay, it's going to go into a zip folder. Just double click that. That's going to open up your folder. And right here, it says .png. Now, we were already in the print and cut area, so all of the files in the print and cut area are going to be print then cut ready.
Yep.
But sometimes if you're just in the cut file areas, you can download a file and you're going to get an SVG, which is the cut file, as well as the PNG version of the same image, which you're going to use for your print and cut. That's the portable network graphic. Okay. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to show you what to do just to pull it into Design Space. So let's open Design Space. I want to upload an image. So over here on the left, go to Upload, and then Upload Image. I'm going to go back down to my Finder, or just go search for it in your downloads or your recents sometimes, and you can click and drag. I'm going to hit Complex, Continue, Apply and Continue. And then this is the print and cut image. You can see over here, if we hit cut image, you're losing all of this pretty detail. All the colors go, all of that. So we want to have this print and then cut image because we were working with stickers today. So select it and add it to your canvas. And it's gigantic when it comes in. I love this image. Oh my gosh, this is totally my vibe. I love this. And so whenever I'm working with stickers, and I'll zoom in here, I've already done this to these ones that are surrounding it. What I like to do is add an offset to my stickers. Now, if you're brand new and you're like, what's an offset? I don't know what that is. What I'll do is select my image, come up here, we're going to select offset. Do you all see this blue line that pops up around here? This is our cut line. So what's going to happen, let me show you. I'm going to shrink it down just a little bit. I don't want it so big. I want it to be like really close. I'm going to hit apply. Now it adds this background. We could keep it black, but I want it to be white right now. So I'm going to change the color. Actually, I'm going to make it a color so you all can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to change it to gray, okay? Now, you can see there's like little holes in this. Everywhere there's a hole, it's going to get cut. And I don't necessarily want that. So what I like to do is go over here. You can see this is the offset. This is our image. This is the offset. Right now it's set to print then cut. I'm going to change this to basic cut. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to get rid of those holes. I cannot contour out those holes unless I have it set to a basic cut. So I'm going to go to contour and hide all contours. And that leaves that outer like outline area.
And notice the other way that you would see other people teach this would be just to make the offset bigger so the holes would go away. Notice we stayed very specific that we didn't want the offset to be any larger. We just wanted it not to cut out. So we just have that one transition, make it a cut line, then we can contour.
Yeah. Kathy says it looks really cool with the black background. I'll make it black. We'll do one in black and do a print and cut for Halloween. Okay, so we're going to change it to black. You could just change it to white. But now you can't be done here. So if you're making stickers, you can't be done after that because right now I just have my offset and I have my hippie Halloween and my machine does not know that they need to go together. Okay. Yeah. So what you need to do when you're working with print and cut is flatten all of your layers together. Okay. So what I'm going to do is select my layer, my hippie Halloween over here, hold my shift key down and select that offset. And we're just going to flatten that image. This turns it into a print and cut. And you can know that because right here in the layers panel, it says print and cut. I can also know it because up here, which this is kind of grayed out, but it says operation print and cut. And so now it's going to know to only cut around that black edge. Okay. So everyone's excited about our black Halloween sticker. I'm excited too. I am going to shrink this down. I try to keep my stickers between like 2.5 and 3 inches unless I want them to be like really big. But like a standard sticker, I feel like this is a good size. These would be perfect for like little treat bags at school. Like, I don't know if people still do trick-or-treating at school and like dress up and stuff. Love it. So anyways, any image that you bring in that is a PNG, you're going to need to add an offset and then flatten. Now, you can't see it on here because my background is white. Let me change the background to these stickers so you can see the offset. So if you ever want to change the background on your Cricut design space, go down here on the bottom right, hit blank canvas, go to color, and I'm going to change this to a light gray. And look, you can see all of these offsets that I added to these images. And typically I like to do like a 0.15 offset. That is personal preference. If you like a chunkier offset, you could do like a 0.2, 0.25. But you all saw earlier, I did like mine to be a little bit slimmer. So we had to do that extra step where we contour out all those little circles. That's totally like a personal preference, really. Yeah. So this is everyone that we're going to do today. I love these. And all we're going to need to do now, all of our images are flattened because we flattened all these already. We're just going to go to make it. Now I'm using the Joy Extra, so make sure you have your right machine selected. And we're going to go make it. It looks like, let's see if we can move this guy. So if you want to put another image onto the paper, you can try to move it and we'll see if it fits. We don't want them to overlap too much. I don't think he's going to fit on here. That's okay. We've already got enough of him. I'm going to hide it. And then we're just going to work with this paper. And now you can do on A4 paper if that's what you're printing on, but we are working with the letter size paper. So the Extra does do A4 as well as just standard letter size, which is 8.5 by 11. A4 is like just slightly bigger, but we don't ever use that really. And then we are going to need to print this. Now, let's go to camera 1. If you're using a normal converted printer, you're going to need, this is the step where I would say, okay, go ahead and mirror your image. Okay. I'm using the Epson SureColor, which I talked about it being a sublimation ready printer. So this printer automatically mirrors my images for me. I love that. Whenever we first got it, me and Lauren were like, why are our images backwards? And we've realized
It
that
automatically does it.
Yes,
That's a perk.
I love it, but it does get you, like if you don't use it all the time, you get out of the habit of mirroring your image. And so when you use a regular conversion printer, you're like, oh crap, I forgot to, mirror my image. So this is the part in the process when we're back in Design Space. If you are using a conversion sublimation printer, mirror your image now. If you're using a sublimation ready printer, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So all you're going to need to do is hit continue, and we are going to send to printer. Now, I usually like to use bleed for my stickers, especially if I don't add an offset and I want my color to go all the way to the edges. It's not super relevant here because we have that white offset, but I'm just going to keep the bleed on. We've got our printer set to the Epson SureColor F100 series, and we always print using System Dialog. Put it on a sticky note and put it on your Cricut.
Yeah.
Always print using System Dialog, especially if you're working with Cricut and sublimation at the same time. You're going to want to make sure you're printing the best quality and using all the right settings. So what I'm going to do is select print, and then if you're using a Mac, sometimes it'll pop up behind here, okay? And now what we're going to need to do is make sure our printer is still the same. I've got my paper size set to 8.5 by 11, and we are going to go to color matching, okay? Now, with the Epson SureColor, you get these two options. Let me show you all the difference in these color selections really quick, because I'm trying to see which one you can really tell a difference. This cactus. Okay, so there's something called Color Sync with the Epson SureColor that helps really match the colors on the screen to the colors that print.
We love that.
And then there's the Epson color controls. Look can y'all see how different it is? They're both beautiful.
Wow.
But this is not nearly as true as this one over here. So, but the Epson color controls work really well when we are sublimating on textiles, we've learned. So I don't want to say you're never going to use the Epson color controls, but for me, when I'm making stickers and I'm using the Epson SureColor, I'm going to use the color sync option. So back in Design Space, whenever you go to color matching, select color sync. I'm not going to change the profile. I'm just going to keep it exactly how it is. This is going to give me the most accurate color to what's on my computer screen for stickers. So now what I need to do is print this on our sublimation paper. So today we are using the A-Sub sublimation paper. This is just 8.5 by 11. We use A-Sub all the time. It's a very good sublimation paper. Make sure the printer is on. It is. Let me just miss. Okay, and then we can go ahead and select print. Okay, y'all, let's look at this. All right, if you're new to sublimation, you're probably like, that is wrong. Those colors look awful. I promise this is what it's supposed to look like. Maria asked, did the registration mark say? Yes. It prints out exactly as if we were going to be doing a print and cut. So, but you can see it mirrored itself. I did not have to mirror it because we used that Epson SureColor printer. So what you're gonna need to do next is take out a piece of HTV Ront sublimation sticker paper. Now, I've seen people lint roll this, and I'm not going to do that. I love you guys, but that's crossing a line for me. I'm just coming around to sublimation stickers, okay? So it's just coming out of the like this. If you have pulled these out of the slip and they're just like chilling in your craft room, you might want to take a lint roller and make sure to get anything off of it. But for us, this is coming out of a brand new pack, so I trust that it's clean. And what you're going to do is take your sublimation paper, okay? We're just going to flip this over, and I am going to tape this using our heat resistant tape to the top left corner.
Love it.
Yes. So it's going face down, okay? And I'm just going to line it up as well as I can. I like to have my print and cut stuff lined up just really precisely, as precise as I can do it by hand. And I really just put two pieces of tape. Two pieces of tape on here, like one on the top left corner and then on this top edge. Okay, just like so. Make sure, okay. So, right now we've got our sticker paper on the back. We have our sublimation paper ready right here, okay? Now, I meant to turn my heat press on. I even told Tanner I was going to forget that.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh. And we both were like, yeah, we'll remind each other.
It's better this way, actually.
Yeah, because it gets really hot in here. So I'm going to turn this on to 375 and make sure that you all are following the instructions on whatever sublimation sticker paper you're using. So with the HTV Ront sticker paper, this one has specific parameters, and it says right here on the bottom, well, somewhere it tells me 375. Here it is. Place the printed pattern facing the sticker, fix the sublimation paper in the sticker with heat tape, and then use a heat press to iron it. 375 for 40 seconds. Those are the instructions that I followed, and they worked really well for me. Make sure you all are reading the instructions that come with your supplies. I know that sounds silly, but like if you're like me at all, I never read instructions. Okay.
Yeah.
I only started doing that when I was working here because like I didn't want to lead you all astray. But like as a crafter and a person, I do not follow the instructions. I'm more of a try it. If it doesn't work like 3 or 4 times of me trying it myself, I'll read the instructions.
And then there's Lauren,
Lauren.
very specific, like,
yeah.
down to the T.
But it's so weird because sometimes we're flipped in that way.
Yeah.
So anyways, when it comes to using new craft products, I always encourage people just to read the directions. You know what I mean? Whenever I first started scroll sawing and using spray paints, they all have very specific like time parameters, and I never read them until I took a course on how to paint, and they were like, I just read the back of the bottle. And I'm like, okay, I shouldn't act like such an idiot. Like I should just read the back of the bottle. So anyways, I've got butcher's paper down here right now. The press is preheating to 375, so that will take just a minute. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take off a piece of butcher paper for us to put on top of this as well. So butcher paper is good for protecting the gases from the sublimation ink from dispersing onto your press. And so when you go to press something else, it's not repressing onto whatever else you're trying to sublimate. So, and then back in design space, you can see all of the materials for the Cricut Joy Extra. So y'all, they have, they sent us the new Cricut sticker paper.
Who?
Cricut did with our Joy.
Oh, we love that.
So it comes with the Joy, but they even have like white holographic, clear holographic. You can cut printable iron-on. It does smart materials. I like that it does so much, and I really love that the Cricut Joy Extra does 8.5 by 11. Especially, I feel like the Joy just really limits you. And I want to say that the Joy is the same price
as
the Extra. The Joy and the Extra.
The Extra is a little more extra.
It is extra.
The Cricut Joy is like $120, $199 if you found it on a really good deal.
Okay.
Cricut Joy Extra is $199.
Yeah.
So great question, everyone.
Very
I love
close.
it. Someone did you address the can you use the Cricut heat press question?
Okay. You can use the Cricut heat press, but it needs to be bigger than your design that you've printed out.
Yes.
So if you're doing like, I don't know, if you're doing like 4 of these stickers and you've got like a 9x9 press, like you can print. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if you only have a mini easy press, don't go in here and try to sublimate on something that's that small with something that's that small. You need evenly distributed heat and pressure when you're sublimating to get a good clean sublimation. Okay, it's not going to look consistent if you go in there and do it with a smaller mini easy press. So I'm going to use the printable sticker paper white for today's project. Now, if you wanted individual stickers, and what I mean by that, you can see like this one, I did a sheet. Okay, this is a kiss cut. So a kiss cut is when it kisses the vinyl. It cuts through the vinyl, but does not cut through the backer. Or you can cut out individual stickers. Now you can cut this on like a thicker, you could do like a glitter cardstock cut setting, or you could even do, do you have a favorite setting for cutting all the way through? Craft board sometimes.
Yeah, craft board, glitter cardstock. I will say, if you want to have more of like information on how we do this, my very in-depth print and cut training.
Yes.
We go into like full tutorial mode on how you can do the kiss cut, how you can,
do
just
individual stickers,
individual stickers, things like
right.
that. You'll really enjoy that training, and it's it was from earlier this year. It has like 100,000 views or so, so it's pretty popular. So highly recommend that for friends that are into stickers.
So today though, we're just going to do this kiss cut, and I'm just going to use the printable sticker paper white in Design Space. And so we're basically just waiting on this to heat up. So we're at 200 right now. I would love to hear. Thank you, Sadie. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do a water test while we're waiting.
So these are some that we already prepped for you. So we're just going to test and see like how it does in the water.
Yeah, okay. So we've got our little cactus guy. Ooh. Okay, we're just going to dip it in. And you can even see here that I am like smudging it and like scratching it. Y'all, it's not budging. It's not budging.
It's crazy.
I mean, that is good stuff. And even this HTV Ront claims to be waterproof and UV, I think it says UV resistant. So it should be pretty good in the sun. And you want something UV resistant, especially when you're working with sublimation, because like we were talking about, you need heat and pressure and all of that. So the heat in the sun can really suck out all the pigment in there.
Welcome, Linda. Yay. Welcome. Just joined.
Charlene, you can print the stickers directly to sticker paper. That's what our spiel was about.
Right.
You can totally do that. That's why this is extra. But the reason that you would ever, in my mind, the reason that you would ever want to sublimate onto stickers is just for a little bit of a better quality of print.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like half and half. I feel like if you've mastered like the type of regular inkjet sticker paper that you have, as well as your print settings, like you can still get just as good results using just inkjet printing and skipping the sublimation altogether. But look at this. This is after I ran it under the water, dried it, and it's totally fine. Okay, guys, we're heated up. We're preheated.
Yay!
So we're at 375. I'm going to press this at a medium pressure for 40 seconds. Make sure to test if you're using a clamshell, make sure to test your pressure. I had it on too light of a pressure, I guess from another project before, and it ghosted my stickers really, really bad. So make sure you have a good medium to firm pressure. I have a piece of butcher paper down. I have my sticker paper on the back, my sublimation sheet on top of it. You can see that because it says A-sub on the front of my paper. We're gonna lay this in here, okay? We want the heat to be touching that sublimation printout, and I'm gonna put a sheet of butcher paper for protection over top of that. Now this will curl, so we need to pull it out and lay it underneath something flat and hard whenever we pull it out. But I'm going to press this for 40 seconds, and I have it set to 60 seconds, I don't know why.
That's found on your dashboard. 2 areas you need to check out if you're a member.
Okay, I pulled them out and immediately put something heavy on them because it will curl up so hard.
So smart.
So I'm just like gonna let that sit for a second. Look, it's trying to curl. I just want it to be flat, guys. Which we're gonna put it on the mat, so it will stick to the mat. But okay, let's see. Let's see the results. Are y'all ready? Okay, that hippie Halloween turned out so cute. Look, y'all. You remember how this looked before we sublimated it? And the colors are beautiful now.
Wow.
I'm gonna let me get this tape off. Hold the phone, everybody. I'm gonna cut it off with an X-Acto knife. True control knife.
Look at this.
And you don't need the sublimation paper, so we are done using it. Just make sure you want to keep those registration marks because we're still gonna be running this through the machine. It's still going to be cutting it for us.
Yeah.
But y'all, look how good of a quality that is.
I love it.
And you can't
How do
beat
I
it.
keep the ink from smudging on printable magnets, Kathy? It sounds like you're getting too much ink on your like magnet sheet. So I don't usually recommend this, but try, telling it to give less quality. So like if it's set at default, or if you've been moving it to best quality, like we teach a lot, for the magnet sheet, move it down to default. And if you're at default, move it down. Because it sounds like you're just getting too much ink on that magnet sheet.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, can y'all see the extra right here, Sadie? Okay. I'm going
I can smell the sublimation.
The sublimation, I
Yeah.
know. It's strong. Okay. I'm going to pull this down to me because I need it to be very much lined
Love
up
it.
to the top here. So we're just going to line this up. I'm going to take a brayer. Do not go on to this with a burnishing tool.
No.
Unless the burnishing tool has like a felt edge.
Right.
Or you can
would
wrap it in a
scrape
cloth.
it. Yeah, don't scrape it.
This is why you need a brayer in your life.
Respect it.
Okay.
Love the brayer.
Love it. Now we're just going to put this right under the lip right here. We've got a fine point blade in. And then in design space, you can see it's loading. It says make sure your mat's, it's making sure our mat is aligned. We've got it set to printable sticker paper white. I don't know what green liner printing is. If you guys know, let me know. And then it says loaded fine point blade, and you're gonna click go down here. There are no buttons on the Cricut Joy Extra.
Right.
Okay, no buttons. And so you can see it's registered all of our images, and now overhead it's just reading those registration marks. And this one did really good because I know like the Explore series sometimes will have issues reading glossy sticker paper. Even sometimes the Maker series will, but the Extra did just fine. But I also didn't have studio lights on, so we'll see what happens. I'm hoping it's totally fine. If your machine is uncalibrated, or if it needs to be calibrated, whenever it goes to cut these stickers, it's going to be slightly off, like to the left or to the right or what have you. But I can show you all where to go in Design Space as soon as this is done cutting. I'll just quickly show you all where to go to calibrate it. We go over machine calibration in the print and cut section of the 30 Days to Master Your Cricut, which is inside the membership.
Yep.
So that goes into way detail. But if you ever get a new machine, make sure you're calibrating like right away because you want to be able to
just
cut
a
right.
shout out, it just popped up on my feed. Your Maker U student that you wanted to highlight that did the new variation of your candles.
Yes.
Dana Shannon.
Yes.
She crushed it.
Is
with
that
her.
not amazing? And the story behind the card is so sweet.
So
just love it.
special. I love it. I love it. I love
She's
it.
speaking to my crafty heart.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, y'all. Now, what I'm going to do is just remove all of this extra vinyl. You don't have to do this part, but I just want to show you all how clean these cut. The Hippie Halloween is giving me life.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you all encouraged me to do the black, but I'm going to peel this off. Now, I'll say it's going to curl. So if you're wanting a flat sheet of stickers, I don't know if this is going to be the way to do it. Maybe after our mat's been loved on a little bit more. But look, these are all done. They cut so good.
Wow.
We have no white around our edges on our Hippie Halloween. Let me peel this off really quick. Maybe. Okay. I'm having an issue. It's a me issue though. It's not this.
It's okay.
Okay. Here we go. Just want to show you all how clean this looks. Look how good.
Oh my gosh,
The
Alicia.
quality is top notch.
We
I
love
love
it.
it. Okay.
So good.
All right. That's it.
That's it.
But let's take a minute to look at what we are making today. Look how cute. We're going to be making leather stickers. Now, just because I'm going to go over the supplies here in just a second, but y'all, just because we say that this is what we use, if you have something else, you can use them. And I'm specifically talking about the adhesive on the back, okay? So the adhesive on the back, actually, let's get to that in a minute. What you're going to need to complete today's project: paper thin faux leather. Does it have to be Cricut brand? Absolutely not. We get this on Amazon. It is linked down below. there is a variety pack of colors that you can get that has a lot of really good basic colors. So that is what we were using today, paper thin faux leather. I really, really hate that 143 stopped carrying their paper thin faux leather. It was probably one of my favorites, but this one is a very good alternative that we have found and we like it. It comes from Amazon. Once again, you don't have to get this color. You don't even have to get it pebbled. This is pebbled leather. You don't have to get it pebbled. You can get it smooth, but some type of faux leather. Okay.
Love it.
So this is gonna be our base. We're starting with this. We are using a standard grip mat today. I might grab one that's a little tackier here in a minute. This one might work, but you're gonna need something that's gonna keep this leather down. So, standard grip or higher. The next thing that you're going to need is HTV. Now, do you have to use black? Absolutely not. You can use any color you want. You can do multicolor, but today we are going to be using black HTV, paper thin faux leather, and a standard grip or stronger mat. Okay. Now, the adhesive that we are using, and our friends that did, let me think of what program it was.
Maker
University. That's it. Maker U sophomore year. If we have any friends here that are Maker U sophomore year people who have completed the projects, this is the double-sided adhesive from the Diamond Dots website.
Love it.
Y'all, we use what we have, and this is what it looks like on the back. We've already tested taking the backing off. It does stay on the leather. It works. My fingernails, y'all, I swear there it is. See what I mean? So the stickiness is still there. It's still stuck to the leather. It does really well. Now, don't go out to the Diamond Dots website and just get this to make leather stickers. I would not do that. But we had this, so we didn't want to spend any more money and order something different, which is why we did this. Now, there's lots of different double-sided adhesives that you can use. 3M is a really good one that we've used here before. You can get that on Amazon. A-Leans, I think, has a double-sided adhesive that's really good. It comes in sheets. It's all going to be generally the same.
Love it.
Okay? So we just need some type of very strong double-sided adhesive. Diamond Dots works very well. Like I said, 3M has a really good one. A-Leans has a good one. You choose which one you want to use and go from there.
Love it.
So those are the supplies that we have today. Pretty minimal, not a lot going on. Before we dive in, because really in all honesty, guys, this project is pretty simple. Like once we really dive into it, you're gonna be like, oh, wow, doesn't take as much as I thought it did.
Right.
So let's go ahead and go over to our website, because I want to walk you through step by step all of the things that we have, and that our new friend now has the ability to access all
hop
of this.
in. Woo-hoo.
Absolutely. So let's go over to the website. I'm going to start with cut files. Now, we release at one point we were releasing 1,000 a month. Our library now is over 16,000 plus cut files.
I just personally looked at our library. We have over 18,000 as of the last time I checked.
My bad, 18,000.
It's really substantial. And one thing, just so that I feel like this is such a fun time to just connect with you all, because a lot of you are members. We have been going through and we've been working with our development team to make search better. So if you have struggled with search on our website in the past, I want to encourage you to give it another shot. And I think you'll be very, very pleased with how well search is going. It's in a really, really good place.
Yeah, I'm super excited. But as you can see, we have so many good cut files that you get commercial use licensing for. That was something that I did forget to talk about, is you do get commercial use license, meaning that you can make anything using cut files from our library, and you can sell them without any retribution or without any fear of being sued.
Yeah.
Because
so good.
it is there for you as a resource. Now, My favorite part, our fonts. I am obsessed with our fonts. I think our fonts are to die for. But what I love the most is about the fact that I can preview my custom text. So if I have a project that I am wanting to put a name on, and there is a very specific type of text that I'm looking for, a very specific font, I can type in the name, you can see, and you can preview everything. Yay. And you can see if you like it. Like for example, Taffy, you know, I thought I would really like it, but then I see that E and I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't think I like it as much.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
You know what I mean? So that is one of my favorite parts about our font section, is the fact that you can preview your text.
I love it.
And you don't have to download 20 million different fonts to find the one that you want. So anyway, that's just a little brief, very quick tour of our website. Now for our project today, we're gonna go back to cut files. The files that we're going to be using, they are newer, but we're just going to type in flower with border. And then we are going to choose what files we want. Now you don't have to do that. You don't have to make your stickers with these flowers with the border. You can make it out of literally anything you want, but we are using these flowers with the borders. This one is really cute actually.
So
but I have another big, I have a pretty big, oh, I like the skinny one. I like the skinny tall one. So I'm going to download. To download a file from our website, if you want to click this arrow pointing down, it's going to put it here in your downloads. You can see here as a zip file. Now, if you wanted to favorite something on our website, all you have to do is click that heart. It fills the heart in, and that's how you know it is favorited. So once you click the arrow pointing down and you open up your downloads, you're gonna double click this zip file. You do have to double click it again and unzip it so you see both the SVG and the PNG version. Now from there, we are gonna go back to Design Space. And you can see here that we have some already set up, beautiful, but I want to show you from start to finish how we do this. So we're going to go to upload. I want to upload image, and then I'm going to bring my Finder back in front of Cricut Design Space, and we are wanting to grab the SVG version of this file. Now the reason we're wanting to grab the SVG version is because we are cutting it on HTV, meaning it is a cut image or a scalable vector graphic. That is what SVG stands for. We're going to drag and drop till this turns green and then release. So it's going to come up as a cut image. We want to upload that into our library. Fun fact, once you have uploaded a cut file into your library, once it is there and you do not have to upload again. One example, I know that we have downloaded this smiley face 20 times. So let me show you what happens when you download over and over and over. Obviously, I can't spell
That's so funny.
Smile. S-M-I-L-E, is that not how you spell?
It is. While you're figuring that out real fast, I want to address a question. Someone asked about a calligraphy script style sketch font. Lisa, we have a lot of sketch fonts. I would be surprised if we didn't have a calligraphy style for you, but let us know. Just double check that you look around at the sketch fonts and we'll see if there are any that would probably fit that criteria. I think there should be. So definitely take a look if you can't see it.
Anyway, it wasn't working. Doesn't matter. So once you have your file in Design Space, we'll scroll over here so we kind of have a blank canvas, and I'm going to start with a completely blank canvas. Okay. Yeah, I thought I was spelling it right, but it wasn't pulling it up. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. So once you have your file, whether it is a flower with a border or something else, we are using this as our base. So now we want to create what the actual leather is going to be cut out of. This is going to be cut out of HTV. The flower and the border is going to be cut out of HTV, but now we have to create something that is larger than that for the base of the leather. So what you're going to do is go to offset. You are going to add an offset. Now this is where you're going to choose how large your offset is. One thing I want to show you is I want you all to be aware. I don't want you to worry about what's inside. No matter what file you use, you need to not worry about what's on the inside. We just want to worry about the offset that is on the outside. So that is going to be how large your offset is. So if you want it to come down to 0.2, you can see that it makes it a little smaller on the outside. That is truly going to be your personal preference and what you want it to look like. If you want it larger, let's say 0.4, there you can see what a larger sticker is going to look like. I personally don't like an offset that big. I like there to be a little bit of detail. Like I like there to be a little bit of a curve down here at the bottom to show that detail. So I'm going to do a 0.2 and apply. Now do not worry, let me change the color so it's a little easier to see. Here we have a very similar leather color. Okay, so we have our offset, but now you're thinking, but Lauren, what about these insides? I don't want it to cut that out of the leather. Perfect, neither do I. So what I'm going to do is over here on my layers panel on the right-hand side where it says offset, the one that we just created, we're going to select it to where it turns green, just like this. Come down here to the bottom where it says contour, and now what we're able to do is we are able to hide all of the middle inside pieces so that Cricut completely removes them. So you can click, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can click, and you can see in the background. Watch when I click it again, it brings it back. Click it again, it takes it away. So you can do that and click all of the little pieces and hide all of the contours. Or if you wanted to, you can just come down here. If you're ready to get rid of everything but the outside cut line, what you can do is go to hide all contours. Now this is going to be very, very helpful, especially if you're doing a very small outline or a very small offset, because there may be lots of little pieces inside. So that's going to give you your sticker. But we're not done yet. I want to, let me pull in. I think they're all going to give me, they would all give me just one big contour. No big deal. I was wanting to show you like what all the little pieces would look like, but I also don't want to confuse you. So either way, you're just going to create your offset, come down here to contour, contour out all of your extra pieces that you don't want. And now, other than sizing, you're pretty good to go. So the last portion that you need to do is we need to select both layers, because if we just click here, do you all see how that bounding box is inside that brown or reddish brown color? That's because it is two separate layers. You can see it here together. So if you just click and try to resize, what's going to happen is you're going to resize one thing and not both. So what you want to do is you either want to make sure that both are selected over here on the layers panel, or you want to drag and drop. That way they are, you can see here, both selected, okay? And then we're just going to size it down and size it to the weight, to the height or width, whatever you want your sticker to be. Now, clearly a 5.32 inch sticker is insane.
Let's talk about that for a second. What do you think would be the best sticker size?
In my humble opinion, and I'm trying to
Should I go get your computer so we can just like kind of talk about stickers real quick? I think this is actually a really good topic to discuss, because I know a lot of people, like when you're making a sticker, you really need to understand like the best size for stickers. You know what I mean?
Yes, you do.
So, Lauren has a lot of new stickers, which I think are I think are really fascinating.
I'm just gonna put my finger over that one.
I find them very fascinating. I will tell you, I am.
He has not seen one of them, and I did not buy it. It was bought for me.
That's hilarious. Anyway, I go through seasons where I want stickers on my computer. I want stickers on my water bottle. I don't. I got a new computer for Christmas or something, around the Christmas season, and I'm like, you know what? It's like this matte black. Like it's just been like loving it up. So I go in and out. That's the cool thing about stickers.
Now, if I didn't have a cover on this computer, there's no way I would put stickers straight to my computer.
No, I totally would. I do it all the time.
I
would totally.
I would want to change it up.
You can take them off.
I would just want to change.
Listen, you got lemon essential oil, rubbing alcohol, got the organic or the definitely not organic option for you when you're wanting to clean off your labels. So let's talk about some sizing.
Let's talk about sizing. So it depends on the size of or the shape of your sticker. So for example, this one is a good one, a round sticker. Somebody said no larger than 3 by 3. For example, this sticker is a 3 by 3 inch circle. I think that is a really good size sticker for a bigger thing. Now, some of these are smaller, like my little tiny Arizona one up here. It is a 1.5 by 1 3/4. So anyway, you can see that none of these stickers on my computer, this one is almost 4 inches. The Diet Coke one is almost 4 inches. That one is like 2 3/4. This one at tops 4 inches. So if it's long and skinny, I think 4 inches is a good length this way if it's tall and skinny. So for example, the flower that we're going to be doing is tall and skinny. So I could see it going like right here. So 4 inches would be perfect to go right there.
I love it.
So back in Design Space. Here you can see we've got it currently at 2.5. I do think I want to come up to about 4.
It's a really neat size sticker. Like
it is a neat size sticker. So like if I was making it, I have actually a little less than 4 inches. So we may make it like 3. We might make it 3 inches, 3.5. So let's go back down to about 3.5. Beautiful. And now I am going to, let me hide all of these over here because I don't want to cut them. I figured somebody would laugh at my stickers. Sin is the one that would laugh. Okay, so now that we have this ready, we're gonna go to make it. And we are going to be cutting this on 2 separate mats because remember the black portion is HTV, so we're gonna mirror it. And then our reddish brown is gonna be our leather, so we're gonna leave it the same. So I'm going to start with our HTV. And I'm placing it carrier sheet. Carrier sheet. We've always said shiny side. I'm changing it to carrier sheet.
Can you break down what you're talking about just so we're all on the same page?
Let's break down what I'm talking about really quickly.
I think that's a good one.
In years past, we have, and actually we can still say it. I still like saying shiny side down with HTV because 9 times out of 10, the shiny side is the carrier sheet of your HTV. The issue is a lot of time, or not a lot of times, but there are instances where some different brands of HTV will have a matte carrier sheet. So that's why I think it's always good to check what side is your carrier sheet and which side is not. So you can see here, our shiny side is our carrier sheet and our matte side is our HTV. So always, always check that, and that's why I say carrier sheet facing the mat, and we're cutting it mirrored so that when we flip it back over, it is proper. Okay?
Love it.
And now we're just going to place it. First of all, I'm going to move this little tiny piece of hot glue off the mat, and then we're going to place our HTV down in the top right corner. Bray this down.
This is so easy. Like it's really easy. Like this one's one that you'll definitely want to recreate, guys.
It really is. We are using our Explore 3 today. I'm cutting this on everyday iron on default pressure. Loading that in. Oh, that sounds lovely. Did you hear that?
I love it.
So while that's loading, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put our double-sided adhesive on our leather because I want it to cut it out at the same time. So I'm just going to take the backer off of my double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to place it down on the leather. And do y'all see how it's sticking on this side and it's not as much on this side? Can they see that, Sadie?
Love it.
So you need to make sure you use pressure, whether you use a burnishing tool, whatever, but you need to make sure you burnish or lay down that double-sided adhesive really, really well.
Someone says, why wouldn't the contour work? I'm drawing a blank. So the contour worked for the area we needed it to. That's how we added the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why. There wasn't an error. It was just like, as you play around with contour, there's sometimes that it will, you have to make sure it's the right layer to even have the option to contour.
Right.
Does that make sense? Sometimes, so for example, after you have attached it, you can't contour both layers together. You have to select just the layer you're working with. So you just want to be mindful of what you're selecting and why it would be grayed out or things like that. Just trying to troubleshoot with you guys.
Yes.
So right now, Lauren is working with a purple strong grip mat.
I've laid it down wrong. I need to lay it down like this.
Oh my gosh, before you joined, I was wondering if someone had some kind of pairing font list and thinking I should do a search. Yes, we have one. It's built. We are just perfecting it. And honestly, my team will probably have it done in the next week or two. We'll just be like, hey, we want to get it out to you guys, so stay tuned. Sadie has so many things out. Sadie has worked on this new font pairing book. Sadie also just dropped
I was
her
about
first
to say,
single.
Sadie just dropped a single. If you all haven't given it a listen, check it out, Spotify and Apple.
Y'all, literally, I'm about to go put it in the Facebook group. If you're a member, you've got to go check it out. It's so good. All right, y'all, don't walk, run. It is such a good single.
Okay, so I have, go back, if we're not overhead, go overhead. I place the leather down with the sticky side on the bottom, okay? We are going to be cutting this on faux leather paper thin. I'm changing it to more pressure, okay? Susan said double-sided adhesive. Do you have to use adhesive always on faux leather? Okay, we've got a couple questions that I want to address while we're here. So, do you have to use adhesive always on faux leather? Kathy, no. The only reason I'm using double-sided adhesive on this faux leather is because I want to make it a sticker. That is literally the only reason. If you're just wanting to make a leather patch and you want to take some E6000 or some fabric glue and glue it onto something, we have done that quite a bit in the past. Definitely doable. The only reason I'm doing double-sided is because I want to make it a sticker, okay? Now, the next question is double-sided adhesive. Susan says double-sided adhesive. Yes, Susan, we are using double-sided adhesive because we are turning it into a sticker. We are using the Diamond Dots double-sided adhesive. It's actually a diamond painting brand where they have a bunch of diamonds, neither here nor there. It's a really good double-sided adhesive that we already had in our studio from a previous project. So if you want to, you can go get those. We do, or get that for this, but you don't have to. You can get double-sided adhesive from Eileen's. Is that how you say Eileen's?
Eileen's. I think you can say either one. It's kind of like how people pronounce Courtney's mom's name. Eileen.
Yeah,
got it. Totally different.
So Eileen's has a really good double-sided adhesive, and so does 3M. 3M is very strong. Just mind you, 3M is very strong, okay?
Yeah, so good.
I have edited this mat number 2 just to turn that sticker sideways so it will fit. I just didn't want you guys to think that I was changing some things around and not telling you. That's what I'm doing. We are doing more pressure. And I have a feeling this is definitely going to be one where I'm going to come back and check the cut to see if it did cut and then pull it back up. It's a little trick, a little hacky hack that we'll show you if you've not seen it. I want to double check and make sure that this cut all the way through. So what you're going to want to do is pick up on the corner. Oh no, I picked up the plastic is stuck down to the mat. So we just want to pick up the corner And you can see here, it cut beautifully. Now, if for some reason yours doesn't, the trick that I was gonna tell you, don't press this flashing unload button, press the play button again. What it's gonna do, and you know what, let's just go ahead and do it because it's not gonna change anything. If you press the play button again, if your cut, if it's not cut all the way through, you've checked it, don't unload it, press the play button. It's going to cut exactly where it cut the last time, and it's not going to be off. And then it will cut all the way through. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, this cut through beautifully the first time. So really and truly, I didn't need to do that. I was just doing that for you guys, but look at this. Oh my gosh. Now we're gonna turn it upside down. We're gonna unload, and look how beautiful. Now, one thing I did forget to do, I didn't weed this because we got busy talking. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut this off and I'm going to weed. Okay, y'all, we have our HTV weeded. This is what I absolutely love about HTV. I don't know if we've been overhead, Sadie, but I've been fumbling around with this for about 4 minutes. Trying to get it straight, but HTV is so forgiving. I'm gonna keep my hand on there because I can pull it up no problem and lay it back down and straighten it up.
I love it.
So one other thing that I didn't talk about earlier that you're gonna need is some type of heat source. We're using our mini easy press. Hands down, if you're getting started with Cricut or die cutting, whatever, you don't wanna invest in a heat press, fine. Because you know what? I use a heat press about 20% of the time.
Right.
This mini easy press is what I go after day after day. This is
Less than $50.
Less than $50. This is it. So heat setting of 2, not a lot. It doesn't take a lot for this.
Not at all.
Not because you don't want to lose the integrity of the sticker on the back either. And if you're not careful with too much heat, you are going to lose the integrity. So we've just done a couple swaps, let it cool down, and y'all, look at that.
So good.
Y'all ready? Let's put it on the computer. Let's go ahead and put it on the computer.
So fun.
I think it is such a cute, I love, and my fingernails will get me every single time.
Lauren has some crazy fingernails.
Y'all know I can't help it.
We love it. We love it.
That is sticky.
Okay, what the F asked a great question, Lauren. I think we should just have a discussion with everyone here live.
How cute.
I love it. I love the texture of the leather sticker. So good. So good. So